I, who only wanted to play football, became the Hollywood heartthrob. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76. I, Sophie, accept your gift. Sophie knelt on the floor with tears streaming down her face, covering her swollen big toe with both hands. Just now, when she leaned towards Guran's bed, her bare toe hit a hard edge. It hurt so much. The previous second, Sophie was still a lady, but the next second, Sophie was crawling on the floor with her hair disheveled in pain. Fortunately, Guran didn't wake up. If he had woken up at this time, he would have fainted from the shock of Sophie's appearance. Damn Guran. What is that? It's so hard. Sophie wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and saw a wrapped gift box on the ground. Sophie didn't feel the pain immediately. This is the gift he gave me. Such a big box. The gift inside must be very valuable, right? Let me guess first. Is it flowers? Or my favorite doll? Or cosmetics? Perfume? Stockings? Or bling blings jewelry? Oh, I don't like these vulgar things. Sophie covered her pounding heart, knelt softly beside the gift box, and opened it excitedly. The first 4 volumes of A Song of Ice and Fire tied with a bow appeared in front of Sophie. The first volume was A Game of Thrones, the second volume was A Clash of Kings, the third volume was A Storm of Swords, and the fourth volume was A Feast for Crows. Neatly arranged. Sophie, I must have opened it the wrong way. Sophie closed the box, took a deep breath, and opened it again. A Game of Thrones and A Clash of Kings were not even in the same order. Sophie was completely stunned. Guran's gift to me was actually a book. Are you kidding me? With this gift, he said I would like it very much. Who gave him the courage? Question mark. In the era of my great-grandparents, giving books to girls was an old-fashioned way. Sophie wanted to smash the book on the back of Guran's head. Wait, calm down, I can't do this. Although everyone says that we Southerners have bad tempers, I, Sophie, am definitely not a bad-tempered girl. Maybe Chinese boys are too reserved. Maybe Guran hid his love for me in the book. Maybe there is a diamond ring in the book. Sophie quickly searched around. Where is the diamond ring? Exclamation mark. Guran, I hate you. If I talk to you again in the future, I will. Sophie stamped her feet in anger, and the pain in her toes instantly made her unable to straighten her back. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Guran, this is all your fault. Okay, I, Sophie, will accept your gift. I want to see what the book you gave me is about, and what you want to imply through these books. Sophie picked up A Song of Ice and Fire angrily, and limped out of Guran's room. Light Sophie Turner's negative emotion value of 100 points is sensed, and the system bubble is generating. Guran was sleeping soundly, and was suddenly awakened by the system prompt sound in his mind. Beside the bed, a red perfect bubble has condensed and formed. Guran rubbed his sleepy eyes. What the hell? Can I get a talent point bubble for free just in a dream? This must be a dream, right? Never mind, pick it up first. Guran grabbed it with his hand, then turned over, and continued to sleep. The next morning, Guran woke up with a feeling of soreness and numbness all over his body. There was almost no muscle in his body that didn't hurt. The fatigue sequelae of yesterday's game are now completely back. This is a manifestation of insufficient physical fitness. The higher the physical fitness, the lower the fatigue, and the faster the recovery speed of fatigue. For ordinary people, the level of consumption in yesterday's game will take at least 5 days to a week to fully recover. For a new player like Guran, it will take 3 days to fully recover. But after 3 days, it will be a new round of group matches. During this period, the recovery speed can only be accelerated by refreshing the upper limit of the physical fitness attribute. Alas, it is not easy to increase an attribute point. Guran rubbed his arm and sighed. At this time, it would be nice if someone could give me a massage and physical therapy. In the previous life, after playing basketball, the brothers would go to a regular bath center. Guran was suddenly stunned. Wait. Something seemed to have happened last night. I seemed to have picked up a talent point in my dream. Guran's mind condensed. Damn. Sure enough, there is an extra talent point. No way. Giving talent points in dreams? No, no, no. Duran suddenly noticed that the gift box originally intended for Sophie was opened. This must be because Sophie came last night. Then, this extra talent point should also be dropped by Sophie. But why? Why would a girl feel negative emotions when she receives a gift carefully selected by a boy? This is really puzzling. Forget it. Don't think about it. Anyway, I picked up a talent point for nothing. Duran happily added this talent point that was completely effortless directly to the physical sub-attribute. In this way, Duran's physical attribute was increased from 58 points to 59 points. Duran took a deep breath and felt that the fatigue of his body was being repaired at an accelerated rate. However, it was not enough. To fully recover, at least one more talent point was needed. For now, in addition to playing with the future superstar Sophie, he had to rely on picking up training results. As long as he collected 70 hours of football-related training results, he could exchange for another talent point. When the physical attribute reaches the passing line of 60 points, the fatigue of the body can be almost repaired in a maximum of 1 day. In addition, now only 2 talent points are needed to upgrade the personal rating to C level. Tonight and tomorrow, I will accompany Sophie to London for an audition. It is really interesting to be able to personally participate in the process of a superstar's rise. Duran couldn't help but look forward to it secretly. Of course, before going to London, I have to find an opportunity to make some money. This is not only to enjoy the trip to London, but also to prepare to move out of the Turner family after Sophie leaves. Before, Duran took time out every day to buy high odds betting to increase his losing rate. Today, he can finally have a high odds betting to increase his winning rate. Tonight's game is the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals, Real Madrid vs. Barcelona at home. This is also a game that Duran will be impressed with. Get started. Duran struggled out of the bed with a grin and walked out of the room with the help of the wall. While thinking about the betting plan, he made himself a nutritious breakfast with Chinese flavor. Just after breakfast was ready, before Duran could sit down on the chair to enjoy it, Andrew, wearing a red and white robe, yawned and walked out of his room. Hi, Good morning, Uncle Andrew. What did you make? Eggs, steamed dumplings, milk, assorted fruits. Oh, is this delicious? Andrew stared at the fragrant steamed dumplings. Duran ate one on the spot and nodded, saying, "It's just average. It doesn't taste as good as the ones we have back home, but I can't ask for too much." Andrew asked, "You're average, how exactly is it?" Duran explained, "It's a little worse than delicious, but better than not delicious." Oh, by the way, Uncle Andrew, there's the first leg of the Champions League semi-final tonight. Real Madrid is playing against Barcelona at home. Why don't you buy 2 bets for fun? Chapter 77. Uncle, just trust me this time. As soon as he mentioned spinach, Andrew sat down with a beaming smile. Haha. Of course I'll buy it. Tonight's game is a world-class derby. This is also the most anticipated peak match before the start of this World Cup. Real Madrid and Barcelona are the sworn enemies of La Liga. From the head coaches to the ordinary players, and even their respective girlfriends, the two teams are full of competitive highlights. This is not only the peak match between Guardiola and Mourinho, but also the century-high match between Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Duran couldn't help but nod in agreement. Andrew was right. In this era, the 23-year-old Messi and the 25-year-old Ronaldo are definitely the undisputed peerless duo. The match between Real Madrid and Barcelona can definitely be called the peak battle between clubs. Andrew lowered his voice. Boo, I have prepared another £1,000 of private money. If you buy from me today, I guarantee that your 1,000 will become 2,450. The winning odds of 2.45 are still very tempting. Just as Duran was about to speak, Andrew continued, "Listen to me, follow me and bet on Real Madrid to win. I've been studying this game a week in advance, and I've analyzed the status of both sides. Betting on Real Madrid to win is very safe, and will definitely pay off." As he spoke, Andrew confidently grabbed a hot steamed dumpling and stuffed it into his mouth. I buy this, not only because Real Madrid has the home advantage, not only because Real Madrid has Cristiano Ronaldo, and not only because Real Madrid has the world's #1 goalkeeper San Casillas. Moreover, it's because Barcelona's Iniesta has accumulated yellow cards in this game and is suspended and can't play. Let me ask you, what is Iniesta? Andrew grabbed another steamed dumpling and held it in front of Guran, as if the white steamed dumpling was Iniesta. Barcelona plays the tiki-taka system, and Iniesta is the soul of the tiki-taka system. Do you understand tiki-taka? Andrew threw the steamed dumpling into his mouth and swallowed it into bites. Guran, let's not talk about whether I understand or not. Uncle, you can't taste the flavor by eating like this. Andrew said proudly. Boo, listen to me. Follow me this time. You can boldly take out £10,000 and buy Real Madrid to win. You will definitely make a fortune this time. Guran said quickly. No, Uncle Andrew, I feel it today. How about you follow me to buy? Andrew was stunned. Feeling? Yes, Guran hinted frantically. It's the feeling. When I made more than £80,000 in one wave for the first time. Ha ha ha. Andrew laughed. Boo, your feeling is very unreliable, but I can deeply understand it. Guran said, Uncle, last time I didn't let you buy with me, but you insisted on buying with me, but this time is different. This time I really have a feeling. Andrew asked, then how do you plan to buy this time? Guran said without hesitation, Real Madrid loses at home, and Real Madrid gets 2 red cards. Guran had a very deep impression of tonight's game in his previous life. The Monk Peep was sent off with a straight red card, and Real Madrid coach Madman Magic Bird was also sent to the stands for being shown a red card for scolding the referee. In the end, Messi scored 2 goals to end the game. Guran originally wanted to have the option of Messi scoring 2 goals, but in that case, the odds combination of 3 and 1 would reach more than 300 times. To be safe, Guran thought it would be better to do a simple 2-in-1 with the number of red cards plus the home loss. Even for a 2-in-1, the odds reached 145 times. Guran didn't buy more, but still bet £1,000, which would earn him £145,000. This income, plus the money that had not been spent before, was enough to enjoy a trip to London. Moreover, it was enough to move out of Turner's house and rent a small villa by the sea. Ha ha ha. Andrew laughed so hard that he fell backwards. Goo, what did I say before? You really don't understand football. In such an important game, you think Real Madrid will get a red card? And 2 red cards? What's your basis? Guran shrugged. My basis is my feeling. Uncle, feeling is very oriental metaphysical. I can't explain it to you clearly. Just believe me this time. Really, I feel really good this time. Andrew waved his hand. Goo, although you guessed right once, I have been fooled by you once. So no matter what, I will not believe your so-called feeling this time. In addition, I would like to advise you that betting requires skill. Young man, don't think you can guess it right a second time just because you guessed it right once. If you want to play betting, you have to calm down and do research like I did. Don't always think about betting on an upset. Guran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Uncle, just believe me once. Bet on football and the villa is by the sea. Andrew said firmly. Boo, I finally climbed out of the pit before and saved enough money for this spinach. If I believe your feeling again, I will be fooled for the second time. Well, let's not talk about this topic. You rely on your feeling, and I rely on my experience, skills, and strength. By the way, your steamed dumplings, well, the taste is really average. I will go back to the room to change clothes and send you and Sophie to school. After speaking, Andrew stroked Ziguancan's hairstyle, got up and left. Alas, uncle, I really want to take you to fly and make you rich together, but you eat too much. Guran looked down. Damn, the whole plate of steamed dumplings was eaten up. Just say it tastes average? If it tastes good, uncle, you will lick the plate and the pot together? Oh, forget it. I'll buy the spinach myself this time. Guran took out his mobile phone and placed an order for £1,000. After finishing the rest of her breakfast, Sophie, with dark circles under her eyes, limped down the stairs with her hands. Guran was stunned for a moment. Good morning, Sophie, what's wrong with you? Sophie glared at Guran resentfully. It's all because of you. Guran was confused. Me? What did I do? Sophie said angrily. How dare you pretend to be innocent? Don't you know what you did last night? Do you have to make me yell at you? When Sophie thought of the pain she felt when her toes hit the gift box last night, tears welled up in her eyes. She was going to London tonight and had an audition tomorrow. Why did she get her toe injured at this time? What made Sophie even angrier was that Guran actually looked so innocent. Guran said helplessly, Sophie, why don't you explain clearly? If you say that, I will think that I really did something wrong to you. Sophie shouted angrily. Then tell me, why did you give me books? Do you know that, in order to understand the meaning of these books you gave me, I stayed up all night and read them? That's not the worst. The worst thing is Sophie's teeth were almost broken. This book is not finished yet. You gave me a book that is not yet finished. When I think that I may have no book to read tonight and can only guess, I'm going crazy, you know? Guran hurriedly comforted. Sophie, don't be angry. I'm actually doing this for your own good. Really? Don't you think you are very similar to Sansa in the book? Sophie froze, staring at Guran with shock and anger. Sansa? That idiot who is in love and doesn't care, even if her father dies and her family is broken. Do you think I'm very similar to her? Guran said excitedly. Yes. Do you really want to play Sansa? Sophie took a deep breath and said calmly, go to hell, Guran. After that, Sophie turned around and walked out. Light. Chapter 78 Upgrade. Personal rating reached sea level. Light. Sophie Turner's 100 negative emotion points are sensed, and the system bubble is being generated. A red bubble of perfect talent points condensed and formed where Sophie had just stood. Guran was surprised and happy. Sophie lost 2 talent point bubbles in one day. It seems that Sophie was in a highly negative mood all night. It really deserves to be my magic tool for rubbing points. It's so awesome. The physical attribute is now passed. Guran happily touched the perfect red bubble and added this talent points directly to the physical attribute. The physical attribute was immediately increased from 59 points to 60 points. In this way, Guran's strength, power, and physical fitness all reached the passing line of 60 points. Guran's physical fatigue was also rapidly subsiding, and his physical fitness was basically restored. Guran took a deep breath and felt that his whole body was full of new strength. It feels so good. After the match with the Corsairs, he increased his physical talent points by 2 points in one day, which is equivalent to 200 hours of physical training. Even Messi and Ronaldo would be envious of such an improvement. As long as he collects 70 hours of football training results, he can exchange for a new talent point. Then the total number of talent points can reach 10, and his personal rating can be upgraded to sea level. The road to stardom has been lit. Guran took a deep breath, quickly packed up the dishes, and went out happily. After Guran left, Andrew and Sally's door opened gently. Sally asked quietly, did you hear the conversation between the 2 children just now? Andrew frowned and said, yeah. Sally was a little excited. From what Sophie said, they seemed to. Andrew showed the sadness of an old father. Isn't the pace too fast? I just said I didn't object to their relationship last night, but that brat was talking all night. By the way, why didn't I hear anything last night? Sally said, you sleep like a pig. How can you hear anything? Go drive. At this time, in the car, Guran lowered his voice and said to Sophie, Sophie, no matter what misunderstandings there were before, no matter how much resentment you had towards me before, I just want to say sorry to you. I never meant to make you angry, really. Don't worry, when I go to London this afternoon, I will promise to do my best to compensate you. These words were very sincere, and they really came from Guran's heart. After stroking Sophie for so long, seeing that Sophie was about to turn into a phoenix and fly away, it's hard to say that Guran was really reluctant to let her go. So, tonight in London, Guran decided to let Sophie enjoy the best night of her life. Sophie turned her head away. I don't need it. Although she said this, Sophie's heart was already beating fast. This was the first time that Guran said such affectionate words to her. Going to London this afternoon, I will sleep in a hotel near the audition site at night. Guran's compensation. Could it be that the more Sophie thought about it, the more shy she became? At this time, Andrew sat in the driver's seat with his head down and sighed while starting the car. His sigh was louder than the sound of the engine. Duran asked, "Uncle, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable?" Andrew covered his chest with a sad face. "I feel so blocked here." Duran nodded. "Don't eat so many steamed dumplings next time." After lunch break, the main players of the Bucks Steelhorns dragged their tired bodies to the training ground. Yesterday's game was really intense, especially the fight in the last stage of the game. The whole team fought hard. After such a high intensity confrontation, even the captain Bayome, who had the best physical fitness in the team, almost couldn't get up this morning. However, Duran was energetic and full of energy, as if he had not played yesterday. And obviously, he was the one who fought the hardest in the second half. The 7.1 post-match score was not false. Before the formal training began, Captain Bayome gathered the players to warm up as usual. 15 minutes of warm-up running and 15 minutes of warm-up exercises are the basic subjects of daily training. When Duran trained with the team for the first time, he almost couldn't keep up with the speed of his teammates. But this time, Duran completely kept up. Not only did he keep up, but after running for 5 minutes, Duran thought his teammates were running too slowly, so he ran directly to the front of the team and led the way. The more Duran ran, the more excited his body became, and after halfway, he gradually accelerated. The exhausted teammates could still hold on at first, but in the last few laps, no one could keep up with Duran's pace. After all, everyone's physical strength has not recovered yet. Moreover, Duran's frequency is too fast, so fast that all the teammates can't keep up. After the 15-minute warm-up run, Duran ran more than one lap more than most of the players. What shocked the teammates even more was that Duran was just panting slightly and didn't look like he was running to death. Brett hunched over and pinched his waist, panting, and asked, "How come you are so strong?" Minato also asked in astonishment. "That's right, you were just as tired as us yesterday. How come you recovered completely after a good sleep?" Duran hurriedly explained seriously. "Oh, nothing. Probably because my girlfriend took good care of me." "What? Didn't your girlfriend take good care of you last night?" Light. As soon as Duran said this, all kinds of bubbles fell wildly within a 5-meter range around him. Originally, the players were already frustrated by being trapped by Duran. Now, when they heard Duran talking about his girlfriend taking care of them, they were all more upset. Especially Rusty, who didn't even have a girlfriend. What fell under Rusty's feet was a full blue bubble. Duran quickly determined the location of 8 of the bubbles. This afternoon's training will be separate training, which is not conducive to picking up within a 5-meter range. Moreover, after the training, he will accompany Sophie to London, so this time he will not wait and use up the picking progress bar in one wave. At present, there are still 7 training result bubbles to collect a special talent point, so this wave must first pick up at least 7 white bubbles. As for the remaining 1 picking progress, collect a talent point first and upgrade to sea level. While doing warm-up exercises, Duran moved back and forth and touched the previously determined white bubbles one by one. The 7 white bubbles are basically the results of physical training, upper limb strength training, shuttle run training, core strength training, etc. These are ordinary training results, and naturally they are not as good as Albert's dynamic ball control training results. However, Duran didn't mind at all. When he picked up the 7th white bubble, light warm reminder, the host has collected 100 hours of special training results and now has 1 corresponding talent point. Duran immediately used this talent point and added it to the physical attribute. Although the previous 60 points of physical fitness was considered passing, and he could barely play the whole game, but the next games are getting harder and harder. The higher the physical fitness, the more opportunities there are to shine on the field. After adding this physical fitness point, Duran's physical attribute reached 61 points. At this moment, Duran felt light all over, and his physical fitness limit broke through significantly. All the previous fatigue was swept away. Before Duran could celebrate happily, another system prompt sounded in his mind. "Congratulations to the host. After your unremitting efforts, your personal rating has been upgraded from D to C. Chapter 79. This kid is truly a football genius, rarely seen in a century. Warm reminder, your pickup range has now been upgraded to 10 meters around you. The contents of the bubbles are displayed in advance. You can collect the bubbles remotely by concentrating your mind. Warm reminder, to upgrade from C level to B level, you need to collect and use 20 more talent points. Ouch. The personal rating of the system has finally been upgraded. Duran concentrated his mind and looked at the bubbles that had not been picked up yet. Sure enough, a clear line of prompt text popped up on all the bubbles. Duran looked at the only blue skill bubble around him, which was the bubble under Rusty's feet. The bubble immediately displayed a line of small words, reasonable collision +1. Damn it. Finally, the second reasonable collision skill has been wiped out. This skill is equivalent to a talent point. The function of visualizing the contents of bubbles is so powerful. If I didn't see it, I almost missed a super practical skill. Duran's mind moved. The blue bubble under Rusty's feet immediately exploded in the air, and a brilliant light thread merged into Duran's body. Like the host has picked up the skill from the filled bubble, reasonable collision +1. Since the host already has the reasonable collision +1 skill, it will be upgraded to reasonable collision +2 after this pickup. Today's pickup progress is 10/10. Warm tip 1. Using reasonable collision +2 can achieve a better confrontation effect than reasonable collision +1, and the physical energy consumed will be reduced accordingly, and the chance of injury will be reduced. Warm tip 2. In the personal rating C stage, the host can upgrade ordinary skills to +3 at most by stacking and upgrading, and using talent points to upgrade is not subject to this restriction. It turns out that in the rating C stage, the maximum skill level can be +3. If you want to improve the skill level, you can either continue to improve your personal rating, or use talent points to upgrade it. But this is already cool enough. Duran secretly clenched his fists, trying not to let himself roar. In the future, not only do you not have to run over and kick in the air, the best thing is that you can see the content of the bubble and get practical skills and training results. Moreover, if we continue like this, it will be even better when our personal rating is upgraded to B level. To upgrade to B level, we need to collect 20 more talent points. Come on. Not long after the team finished warming up, head coach Carter came to the training ground with a stern face. Yesterday's game results were in line with my expectations, but in fact you can play better. Carter gave a solemn lecture. The day after tomorrow is the second round of the group stage, and we will challenge the Tunbridge Wild Boar Jazz away. This game is more important than our first game. If we lose, then we basically say goodbye to qualifying from the group. So, everyone should forget the last game and go all out to prepare for the next most crucial battle. Do you understand? Yes, coach. The morale of the whole team was bursting. Coach Carter nodded with a gloomy face. According to my arrangement yesterday, start low intensity special training. Goo, you come alone. Yes, coach. Duran ran to Carter in high spirits. Carter narrowed his eyes. It seems that you have recovered quite quickly. Duran smiled and said, not bad, coach. Carter said, that's good. I was worried whether you could complete the special training I assigned to you today. Your special training today is endurance running. Because you fought hard in the game yesterday and consumed a lot of physical energy, so today I don't ask you much, just run 10 kilometers within 90 minutes. Yes, coach. Duran didn't pause at all, let alone bargain, and started running directly. Running 10 kilometers in 90 minutes is actually very difficult for a novice player who has just experienced a fierce confrontation. However, for Duran, who has increased 3 physical points in one breath, which is equivalent to increasing the results of 300 hours of physical training, this is a very simple thing. Duran began to speed up steadily and ran at a pace he had never had in his previous life. Coach Carter frowned and shouted, slow down. I didn't ask you to sprint. You definitely can't run the whole course at this speed. 42 minutes later, under Carter's stunned gaze, Duran easily ran 10 kilometers. If Carter hadn't kept asking Duran to slow down, Duran would have been completely confident that he could run within 38 minutes. Duran stood in front of Carter with a lingering feeling. Coach, I feel like there's still something wrong with my breathing rhythm. How about I run again? Carter. Originally, Carter was very confident in his eyesight. From the first second Guran stepped onto the training ground, he could tell that Guran had never played left back before. He could also see that Guran's physical fitness was his biggest shortcoming at the moment. He felt that Guran would have to train hard for at least 3 months under his special guidance before he could level out his physical fitness to the average level that would allow him to play in the national competition. But that doesn't make sense! Exclamation mark. Guran was clearly running hard on the field yesterday, and he was almost exhausted after the game. How come this kid has fully recovered after just one night? Not only has he recovered, but his physical fitness limit is even higher than before. Did I make a mistake? Or maybe this kid was born to do this, a gifted one in a million? First of all, let's rule out the wrong answer, that I might have made a mistake. Then, this kid is really a rare football genius in a century. Old Rice, you really cheated this time. Coach Carter took a deep breath and admired his analytical ability more and more. Coach, can I run another 10 kilometers? Guran saw that Carter didn't speak for a long time and then asked again. Coach Carter waved his hand. No, it seems that your physical fitness has indeed improved a lot. Then let's do a few more sets of anaerobic physical training. Come on, do 10 sets of weighted elastic rope shuttle runs first, and do a 50-meter sprint shuttle in each set. You have to sprint as hard as you can. If you don't, I will scold you directly. Damn. So cruel right at the beginning? But I like it. With 61 points of physical fitness attribute, I'm not afraid of training now. Guran said excitedly. Okay, coach. Coach Carter personally found a black elastic rope and put it around Guran's waist. Coach Carter said casually, just start when you're ready. Guran took a deep breath and tensed his body. Coach, are you ready? Coach Carter pulled the rope with one hand and smiled contemptuously. Do I need to prepare? Coach Carter was fat and weighed 100 kilograms. He had trained his players like this before, so he didn't take Guran, who weighed more than 70 kilograms, seriously. Let's go. Guran concentrated all his strength and sprinted forward. The elastic rope broke free from Coach Carter's hand with a snap. Before Coach Carter could react, he was knocked to the ground by Guran's powerful sprint inertia. Guran stopped quickly. Coach, I'm sorry. Carter climbed up calmly. It's not your problem. I drank too much last night and didn't stand firmly just now. Oh. Let's do it again. Yeah. Guran stood up again. Coach Carter took a deep breath, tied to tight circles on the elastic rope with his hands, and then said to Guran, I'm ready, but you'd better shout 321 before sprinting. Understood. Guran lunged and prepared. 3, 2, 1. Guran started instantly and sprinted violently. Coach Carter, who weighed 200 kilograms, was able to pull back desperately at first, but after pulling less than 10 meters, Coach Carter fell to the ground and was dragged by Guran to plow the grass. The players in the training ground opened their mouths one by one, all dumbfounded. Glider silently took out his mobile phone. The next chapter will be posted at 1800 hours noon. Chapter 80, you must behave well in front of the teacher. After Guran finished his sprint, he turned around and was shocked. He saw Coach Carter lying on the ground with grass foam in his mouth. The natural grass was plowed with an obvious scratch by Coach Carter's beer belly. Coach, are you okay? Guran hurried to help Carter. It's okay. Coach Carter climbed up holding his waist. Although Carter's old face was flushed, his tone was extremely relaxed. Just now, I mainly wanted to show you what is the wrong way to pull the elastic band. Guran, I must not laugh. Can't laugh. Ha ha ha. Fortunately the coach has a beer belly. Ha ha ha. Otherwise it would be the prostate break. Damn it. Ha ha ha. Help. Where is my realistic acting? Guran was almost twitching with laughter in his heart, but his face was still calm, and he even had a little admiration for Carter. Guran asked, Coach, how about we do it again? Coach Carter waved his hand quickly. No, whoever, the drummer, and another substitute player, you two come to pull the elastic rope for Gu. Yes. After replacing the two young and strong guys, Guran's weighted resistance sprint slowed down significantly. The drummer and the substitute player weighed 270 pounds together. Not only were they strong, but the two of them pulled the elastic band together, which provided greater resistance. After several round trips, Duran was exhausted and almost exhausted. The drummer and the substitute player were also so tired that they could hardly stand. This kind of physical training with a confrontational nature has a very good training effect. But Coach Carter's physical limit training has not yet ended. Next, 5 sets of burpees, 20 in each set. Start. Yes. Duran gritted his teeth and started burpees. After finally finishing 5 sets, Duran's physical energy was basically exhausted, and his whole body began to lose control. Coach Carter hadn't stopped yet. Ladder rope sideways run. 10 sets 100 meters. 200 meter sprint. Start. Yes. Duran sprinted desperately. After completing the 200-meter sprint, Duran's lungs were about to explode, and the whole person was panting wildly. The physical energy that had been recovered before was now completely exhausted. Coach Carter nodded steadily. Boo. It seems that it shouldn't be a big problem for you to play the whole game. Duran's heart moved, and he quickly asked, Coach, can I start in the next game? Carter smiled and said, haha, what do you think? Damn. This old guy. Duran was too tired to complain. Then he heard Coach Carter say, okay, your training today is here. What you need to do next is to recover after training. Walk around the training ground for 10 minutes, and then go to the locker room to recover. Go to the locker room to recover? Then I might as well go home and lie down. By the way, Coach, you trained me like this. Aren't you afraid that I won't be able to recover and play in the next round? Oh, I have to find a way to add more talent points. Duran walked slowly on the training ground for 10 minutes helplessly, then took off his sweat-soaked jersey and put it on his shoulders, dragging his loose body into the locker room. As soon as he entered the locker room, Duran smelled a familiar perfume. A slim figure was standing on the physiotherapy bed in the locker room. Their eyes met, and they were both stunned at the same time. What the hell? Teacher Mariah? Exclamation mark. How come you are here? Teacher Mariah took out her gold-rimmed glasses, put them on elegantly, looked at Duran's sweaty muscles, and then smiled maturely. Why are you still standing there? Go wash up. What? Go wash up? Did I hear it right? Duran felt that his brain CPU was about to burn and smoke. Teacher Mariah urged, hurry up, your coach has been begging me for a long time. I originally refused, but then I heard that it was specifically for physical therapy recovery, so I agreed. But you have to hurry up, I don't work overtime. Teacher Mariah is the physical therapist that Coach Carter specially invited for me. Damn. No wonder Coach Carter asked me to train hard just now. It turns out that a physical therapist has been prepared for me a long time ago. I'm the only one in the whole team who can enjoy this benefit. Duran finally reacted and stammered. Oh, you scared me, Teacher Mariah. I thought you were here to teach me. Mariah chuckled. Boo, you are so cute when you are nervous. In fact, you don't need to be nervous. This is not the first time we meet. Go take a shower quickly and then lie down. I will give you muscle physical therapy to help you recover your physical strength as soon as possible. I understand this. Just like in a regular bath center in the previous life. Okay, Teacher Mariah, I'll take a shower now. Duran grabbed a bath towel, ran into the bathroom in the locker room, and washed vigorously. Mariah looked at the watch and urged towards the shower room. Are you ready? Duran wiped his body clean and came out with a bath towel around his waist. Okay, Teacher Mariah, how about I put on some shorts first? Mariah chuckled. Don't bother, I'm a teacher and a doctor. You have to believe in my professionalism. Let's hurry up. Come on, lie down. Okay, Duran bit the bullet and lay on the physiotherapy bed. Mariah took out a piece of ice from a small box she carried with her and put it directly on Duran's body. Duran hissed and his whole body tensed. Relax, this is called ice therapy. Teacher Mariah rolled ice cubes on Duran's body and explained, ice therapy can shrink congested muscles and quickly reduce your fatigue. Generally, professional stars will use ice therapy and take an ice bath after high intensity training. Top stars who have the conditions, such as Cristiano Ronaldo, will use a liquid nitrogen frozen space therapy chamber worth £50,000 to recover. Turn sideways. After Guran lay on his side, Mariah continued, the conditions here in your school team are relatively simple. The bathroom only has a shower head, not an ice bath, so I can only temporarily use ice cubes to help you reduce fatigue. By the way, do you live alone or with others? Guran replied, I live with others temporarily. Mariah said, oh, it's good to live with someone. If you have the conditions, I suggest you buy a liquid nitrogen freezing capsule. After each strenuous exercise, put on protective gear and stay in the capsule for 3 minutes. Your physical strength can be greatly restored. Of course, it's best to have someone around you to help you watch, and it must not exceed 3 minutes, otherwise it will be life-threatening. The freezing capsule uses ultra-low temperature atomization. The temperature during atomization can reach about -150 degrees. You need to wear warm gloves, boots, masks and hats, and then atomize naked in the capsule. Then according to the Leidenfrost principle, your body will produce a layer of water vapor protection film due to the instantaneous temperature difference, which will not let you directly contact the ultra-low temperature nitrogen, and you will not be frostbitten by atomization. If you don't have the conditions of 50,000 pounds, then fill the bathtub with ice cubes at home, which can also greatly relieve fatigue, but the effect is much worse than the space capsule. Okay, turn over again. Guran turned over obediently. After all, he is a teacher, and you must be obedient in front of the teacher. The liquid nitrogen freezing space capsule that teacher Mariah mentioned can be built in the new home after we move out. Mariah rubbed ice cubes on Guran's important muscle groups several times, and Guran felt that his whole body was about to lose consciousness. After the ice compress, teacher Mariah took out an electric heater and heated Guran's body. Guran suddenly felt that his blood was flowing quickly. Teacher Mariah explained, originally, I should have asked you to go to the sauna, but the conditions here are limited, and there is no sauna, so I can only use the heater. After the ice, the fire will accelerate the recovery of blood circulation in your body. The theory of alternating between ice and fire is quite profound. I will not teach you here, you probably won't understand it. Guran lay on the physiotherapy bed with his face covered. I don't understand the theory, but I understand the process. Chapter 81. After the body was warmed up, teacher Mariah poured some medical olive essential oil on Guran's body, and then massaged it vigorously. I also understand this process. Guran tried hard to manage his facial expressions, trying to make himself look like a stone without emotions. I have to say that teacher Mariah's physical therapy technique is really super professional. Mariah can clearly identify every muscle point, and the pressure is also very appropriate. It is not just a strong press, and each time it can just reach the limit of Guran's muscle endurance. It really deserves to be teacher Mariah. This is much better than the experience in a regular bath center in the previous life. For a full half an hour, Mariah was giving Guran physical therapy seriously. Teacher Mariah was tired and sweaty, and the medical grade olive essential oil was quickly evenly applied. Guran moved his shoulders slightly, and he really felt that most of his physical strength had recovered. The effect of this physical therapy recovery is really great. It would be great if teacher Mariah could come to the house for physical therapy after every game. No, it would be faster to recover. I don't know how much teacher Mariah charges per hour. Well, it's not easy to ask. Okay. Teacher Mariah wiped the sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand. There is one last project. Guran felt very sorry. Teacher Mariah, you have worked hard. Do you want to take a break first? Mariah smiled and said, nothing. Come on, let's continue. Mariah picked up a fascia roller that was like a rolling pin and as thick as a forearm from her small box. There were spiral dots on the fascia roller. What the hell? Guran was numb all over, and he wanted to jump up from the physiotherapy bed and run away immediately. Mariah grabbed the towel on Guran's waist and smiled gently. Don't move, be good, just roll it once. As she said that, Mariah pressed the fascia roller hard and rolled it back and forth on Guran's calf. Guran screamed in pain, and the whole locker room was filled with miserable screams. No one can stand this sour taste. On the training ground, all the players stopped training in shock and looked towards the locker room. No one knew what Guran was going through. Coach Carter frowned and shouted, "What are you looking at? Keep training." The players hurriedly continued training tremblingly. Coach Carter sighed faintly and murmured, "Boo, hold on, this is the hardship you have to endure. Oh my old waist, oh my big hips, oh fuck." In the locker room, Guran kept shouting, and suddenly his face turned red, and he stopped shouting. Mariah, Guran. At this moment, Guran was surprisingly calm. The body's reaction has nothing to do with me. I'm still the serious person in my heart. Moreover, as long as I'm not embarrassed, then the embarrassed one is Teacher Mariah. Teacher Mariah used the back of her hand to support her glasses. Boo. What are you doing? Teacher, I said I want to wipe your sweat with a bath towel. Will you believe it? It would be a ghost, if you can believe it. Let's try our best. Guran cleared his throat, and a charming smile appeared on the corner of his mouth to win his favor. Teacher, I can explain it to you from a medical point of view. Teacher Mariah blushed and giggled. Boo, you are so cute. Okay, what is there to explain about this kind of thing? I'm a doctor, I'm very professional, I won't think about it. Guran immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Then he heard Teacher Mariah continue. Teacher is an experienced person and knows everything. Come on, lift the bath towel up. Damn. There is something wrong with you, Teacher Mariah. That's not what I meant. Guran was numb all over. Teacher Mariah continued to roll the fascia roller vigorously. Teacher Mariah's beautiful hair swayed on the bath towel. Guran clenched his teeth. I'm going to die. How come this fascia roller project takes longer than physical therapy? I don't know how long it has been. Teacher Mariah finally stopped. Okay Gu, you can feel it. Do you feel comfortable all over now? Guran quickly said, thank you Teacher Mariah. Teacher Mariah, you are not technically skilled. You are very professional. I just want to say thank you. Mariah laughed so hard that her body shook. Boo, you are so cute. Are all Chinese boys as cute as you? You're welcome. And, oh, you don't have to call me teacher in the future. Just call me Mariah. Guran quickly said, that won't work. How can just calling her Mariah be more exciting than adding the word teacher? Mariah flirtatiously tossed her hair and smiled meaningfully. Okay, it's time to get off work. Do you have any questions? If not, I'm leaving. Guran cleared his throat and said, Teacher Mariah, actually, if I buy a liquid nitrogen space capsule in the future, can I call you and ask you to help me take a look? Mariah chuckled. Just tell me you want my phone number and then find a chance to ask me out in the future, right? You use the excuse of buying a £50,000 space capsule. Ha ha ha, you're so cute. Guran hurriedly said, no. I really want to buy a space capsule, and I can really afford it. Teacher Mariah, oh, shit. I'm really a serious person. Why can't I explain it clearly at this time? Mariah smiled and took out a pen. Okay, I understand. Give me your hand. Guran obediently handed his hand to Mariah. Mariah first wiped the sweat off Guran's palm with her own hand, and then skillfully wrote her phone number on Guran's palm. There was a little heart drawn behind the phone number. Before leaving, Teacher Mariah pushed her glasses on the bridge of her nose and made a call me gesture to Guran. Guran's scalp tingled. The environment abroad is too open and too dangerous. As a Chinese boy, I must protect myself. Guran quickly saved Teacher Mariah's phone number in his mobile phone and then confirmed the number twice before washing off the phone number and the little heart on his hand. This time, Sophie would never find out, no matter what he said. Guran nodded with satisfaction. Guran sorted out his emotions, put on his clothes, walked out of the locker room with the help of the wall, and came to the side of head coach Carter. Coach O, boo, are you done with the physical therapy? Coach Carter said, you just finished the physical therapy, so go back and have a good rest. Tomorrow is the weekend, and other players will come to train, but you don't have to come. Just recover your physical fitness for me. It was just right, so he didn't even have to ask for leave. Guran said, okay, coach. By the way, coach, can I get back the post-match statistics of my debut? I want to keep it as a souvenir. Coach Carter frowned. Here are your post-match statistics. If you perform well next time, I will give them to you. Guran was stunned. Coach, you didn't lose them? How could it be? I know where I put them. How can this be considered lost? Coach Carter said earnestly. Boo. Don't be complacent. Just because you think your debut statistics are okay. They are just the statistics of one game and can't prove anything. You are still a newcomer. You still have a lot of problems and you still have a long way to go. I'm not giving it to you now because I'm afraid you will be distracted. Our next game is crucial. You must concentrate all your attention to prepare for it. Now, don't think about it. Go back and rest. Yes, coach. Duran said goodbye to Carter with a face full of shame and left the campus. After getting in the taxi, Duran suddenly realized whether I was being pulled by the big troll again. Damn. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82. Sophie was completely conquered. Duran's true charm is exposed. After getting in the taxi, Duran took out his mobile phone and sent a text message to Sophie. Sophie, I'm on my way to Southampton train station. See you at the station. Oh, by the way, remember to bring the book I gave you. We'll talk about it after we get on the train. From Southampton to London, it's only more than 120 kilometers. If you don't have a private car, taking the train is the most comfortable. Diddy. Sophie's text message came back quickly. I don't want to communicate with you. You said this morning that I was as stupid as Sansa in the book. I'm still angry now. Duran quickly replied. Don't be angry. Blame me for not explaining it clearly this morning. I'll explain it to you on the train. Sophie didn't reply again. After arriving at the station, Duran bought 2 luxury compartment tickets directly at the ticket window, each ticket costing up to £300. Most train tickets in the UK are very cheap, but there are also luxury lines. The tickets for luxury lines are even more expensive than air tickets. The environment of the luxury private rooms is comparable to that of a 5-star hotel, and the service is absolutely royal. After playing with Sophie so many times, I must compensate her for this trip to London. After Duran bought the ticket, he found a conspicuous place in the lobby to sit down and rest. After more than half an hour, Sophie finally came. Sophie's dress was obviously much more mature than in the morning. Duran went up to take Sophie's suitcase. Sophie, you came just in time. Our train has arrived. Sophie said, I'll go buy a ticket. Duran said, I've already bought one for you. Sophie said proudly, we Southern girls are independent. We never take advantage of boys. I'll give you how much you spend. Oh, no need. How much? I must give it to you. Sophie took out her wallet without hesitation and opened it, ready to pay. Duran shrugged, not much, just £300. Sophie thought she had heard wrong. How much? She had secretly saved some money for this audition, but she only had £200 on her body. Duran took Sophie's suitcase. Let's go. Get in the car first. Sophie followed Duran and frowned. Boo. I know you want to treat me to a ride, but you don't have to lie. It's not like I haven't bought a train ticket from Southampton to London before, and it was at most £3.60. You actually said you spent 3. Sophie was stunned before she finished speaking. 2 standard British tuxedo butlers were inviting her and Duran to the luxurious aristocratic box in a warm way that she had never enjoyed before. The box was filled with a high-end and sophisticated atmosphere. Even the floor leading to the box was made of high-grade pine wood. Everything in the aristocratic box was glittering with gold and full of style. What made Sophie's heart beat even more was that there was only one large bed in this luxurious noble box, and the bed was covered with rose petals in the shape of a heart. Miss, sir, I wish you to a pleasant journey. If you need us, please feel free to call us. After taking Duran's tip, the noble butler bowed slightly and closed the door of the box. Duran threw himself directly onto the big bed and exclaimed sincerely, for only £300 per person, you can enjoy real aristocratic treatment. It's really worth it. Sophie stomped her feet anxiously. Duran, why did you mess up the bed? I want to refund my ticket and change the car. The ticket is too expensive. Duran smiled and said, it doesn't matter. I will cover all the expenses for this trip to London. Sophie, the only thing you have to do is lie down and enjoy it. Sophie said anxiously. Even if it's your money, you can't spend it carelessly. Get up quickly. I'll see if I can restore the roses on the bed before we drive, so that we can refund the ticket and change to an ordinary car. Guran grabbed a handful of roses and sprinkled them on Sophie. Guran smiled and said, okay, now you don't have to think too much. This train is very slow, and it will take about 2 hours to get to London, so we have to hurry up and communicate well. Of course, if necessary, we may need to communicate many times. Sophie blushed and said angrily, Boo, what are you talking about? I came out this time to do business. That's right. So let's not waste time. Guran opened Sophie's suitcase and took out the first Game of Thrones from it. Let's talk about the role of Sansa. Guran opened the book and began to use the relevant knowledge of his previous life to deconstruct Sansa for Sophie. This role seems simple, but in fact it is very profound and very challenging to perform. Of course, when deconstructing, Guran also activated the director's communication skills. Sophie didn't think there was anything at first, but in less than a minute, Sophie was completely conquered by Guran's deconstruction of the role and the main plot. Sophie seemed to have opened up a new world. Sophie's understanding of the role has been raised to a higher level. Through Guran's deconstruction, Sophie realized that the character Sansa, that she hated the most, turned out to be the growing heroine that Martin created with the most effort. Game of Thrones is not an idle drama. You can't read the character of Sansa with the mentality of watching idle dramas like Twilight. The character of Sansa, from the beginning, was a cold and arrogant noble lady who wanted to marry into the royal family, to a helpless, desperate, compromised and submissive walking corpse, and then to a complete awakening, and no longer relying on anyone to become a real wolf girl. She is definitely a heroine with a full sense of reality. While Sophie listened carefully, she couldn't help but look at Guran, who was talking endlessly, with admiration. It was not until this moment that she really realized the charm of Guran. Gu, how do you know the plot later? How do you know so much? I deduced it, based on my personal ability. Guran explained with a face that was not red and heartbeat, and with a full sense of reality. Sophie's eyes were full of admiration. Your deduction makes a lot of sense. It's as if you know how Martin will write. At first, I just thought you were a test-taking machine, but later I found out that you are also good at playing football. But now I realize that your real talent is in the film and television industry. Gu. Really, you can write a script. With your talent and insights, you can definitely become the most sought-after screenwriter in Hollywood. Damn, it's true. If I meet a down-and-out female movie star, I will just give her a script. Wouldn't the female movie star love me to death? If I meet a down-and-out female singer, I will just give her lyrics that can win a Grammy award. Wouldn't the female singer love me to death? However, this kind of thing still needs to wait. Although I know the plots of the hit movies in the next 12 years, knowing the plot and writing it down in a professional script style are two different things. I haven't learned the script writing skills for free, and it's still a bit lacking to just rely on my current English level to write. And can typing be as fun as playing football? Guran looked at the side at a 45-degree angle and said calmly, I really just want to play football. Sophie wanted to persuade him again, but Guran waved his hand and said, okay, let's get back to the topic we were talking about just now. In short, Sansa is by no means an ordinary role. This kind of tense role is the real test of acting skills. To play this role, you must first be beautiful, and you must be really young and tender, and be able to express the innocence, childishness, and vanity of a young girl. Later, you must also express the emotions of helplessness, sadness, and despair, and finally, you must express the ferociousness and oppression of becoming a real wolf queen. I think you are the best candidate for this role. I have marked the plot of Sansa in the book, and you can try to play it tonight. Sophie hesitated and said, wait, Boo, I have to go to the crew for an audition tomorrow, and I should have a good rest tonight. It's better to try to act another day. Guran said, another day? No, we can't do it later. This is a good opportunity for you to improve your acting skills. What's more, what if you are lucky enough to be asked to audition for a scene from Game of Thrones? Sophie chuckled. How can it be such a coincidence? If it is really Game of Thrones, I would even give you the rest of my life. A smile appeared on the corner of Guran's mouth. You said it. Tonight, you should try to act out some scenes of Samsa. Sophie shrugged. Okay, let's just treat it as a time to hone our acting skills before the battle. Anyway, it is definitely impossible. Guran lay comfortably on the big bed. Sophie suddenly had a strange feeling in her heart. It shouldn't be possible, right? If it is really possible, Sophie couldn't help but secretly glance at Guran. If it is really possible, how great it would be. I don't know why, but the chapter title of the previous chapter was deleted by the system. I dare not modify it, for fear that a modification will trigger new problems. So that's it, although it is not very friendly to people with obsessive compulsive disorder. By the way, please read it again. Thank you everyone. Chapter 83. I will be your god tonight. After more than 2 hours of traveling, the luxurious train finally arrived at its destination, London. After Guran took Sophie off the train, they took a taxi directly to the most famous Westfield shopping centre in London. This is the largest city shopping centre in Europe, with more than 40 top luxury brands in the world. When Sophie followed Guran into the shopping hall, her eyes were completely insufficient. In comparison, the shopping mall in Southampton is really a country store. Guran bought Sophie a rather classical evening dress, a set of matching shoes and hats, and even a very mature set of bras and garters for Sophie. In short, today is to compensate Sophie and give back to Sophie. Sophie looked at the prices of the dresses, shoes and hats, and her mouth was so shocked that she never closed. After buying a lot of miscellaneous things, Guran swiped his card to pay the bill in a chic manner, a total of £17,000. Sophie was carrying a lot of bags. Her face flushed as she said, "Boo, return them, they are too expensive." Guran smiled and said, "Sophie, you deserve it, really." Sophie contributed 6 of the 10 talent points. What's wrong with spending some money? She was raped so many times, can't she enjoy it? Sophie's lips trembled uncontrollably, her heart beat wildly, and she was almost unable to control herself. She thought Guran didn't know how to pick up girls. Now she realized that she was wrong. This is the highest realm of picking up girls. What about caring about others? Those are all flashy and low-level moves. Paying by credit card is the fatal move. £17,000. Swiped it, and Guran didn't even blink. Ask, it means you deserve it. Just ask, which girl can resist this way of picking up girls? Guran waved his hand and said, "Let's go. I'll take you to eat the best Chinese food in London. After that, we'll go to the best hotel." "Yes," Sophie blushed and said softly, "I'll follow your arrangements today. Let's go." Guran took Sophie to a Sichuan restaurant called Koi. Guran ordered a signature dish, koi grilled fish, a classic dish of mayo sawang, a dish of boiled pork slices, and 2 servings of rice. Sophie picked up the chopsticks and tasted the boiled pork slices. So spicy. Guran hurriedly said, "Hurry up and eat some koi grilled fish to relieve the tingling." Sophie took a bite of koi grilled fish. So spicy. Guran hurriedly said again, "Hurry up and eat some mayo sawang to relieve the tingling." Sophie picked up the soup spoon and was about to drink. Guran grabbed Sophie and said, "Don't drink the soup with this dish." Sophie grabbed a piece of beef tripe and stuffed it directly into her mouth. Tears immediately flowed out. It was spicy, numb, and hot. "What are these things you ordered, Gu? How can you eat this? This is your first time eating such spicy food. Of course you are not used to it at first, but this kind of spiciness will definitely make you more and more addicted." "Really?" Sophie was skeptical. "Of course." Guran picked up the rice and ate it in big mouthfuls. Spicy meat with rice is so delicious. Sophie hesitated for a long time and finally plucked up the courage to try it again. Although it was still very spicy, it was just as Guran said, the more you eat, the more delicious it is. "What is this? It tastes so chewy." Sophie picked up a piece of greasy pig intestine with chopsticks and asked curiously. Guran asked, "Do you like it?" "Yes, I like it very much." Sophie rinsed the pig intestine in Sprite, put it in her mouth, and ate it with a crunch. Guran picked out all the pig intestines and piled them into Sophie's bowl. "If you like it, eat more. I'll give it to you." Sophie blushed. "Thank you. Gu, you're actually quite nice. I used to misunderstand that you didn't care about people, but now it seems that you really care about people. By the way, what is this thing called? Sophie said, picking up another piece of pig intestines and chewing it. It smells so good. Guran smiled and said, I'll tell you after your audition tomorrow. Sophie said coquettishly, hate it, it's just a dish, but you're so mysterious, as if you want to surprise me. I'm not afraid of surprising you. I'm afraid you'll have morning sickness. Guran continued to pick up pig intestines for Sophie. If you like it, eat more. After dinner, Guran took Sophie for a walk along the famous Thames. After strolling for an hour, it was already late. Sophie bit her lip and whispered, boo, we should go to the hotel. Yeah. Guran took out his cell phone. At this time, the first round of the semi-final between Real Madrid and Barcelona should have ended. Sure enough, the bank text message reminded that £145,000 had arrived. Haha, so cool. Andrew must be so tired now, right? Guran put away his cell phone, raised his hand to hail a taxi, and after getting in the car, he said directly to the driver, go to the Ritz Hotel. The Ritz Hotel is the most expensive hotel in London. It is a rare commercial building with a French castle-like arcade in London. It is also the first hotel certified by the British royal family. The Ritz Hotel is also the favorite place for the upper class, celebrities and wealthy people. Of course, as the most luxurious hotel in London, staying here for one night, the cheapest single room costs £439. The top luxury royal suite, that big stars love most, costs £8,800 a night, and the royal suite is not something that can be lived in if you have money. You have to have a certain social status to make an appointment. It is naturally impossible to stay in a royal suite that costs £8,800 a night, but Guran doesn't even need to blink an eye to stay in an ordinary room that costs £1,000 or £2,000 a night. Staying in such a top hotel is not entirely for squandering. Guran wants to let Sophie experience the status of the character Sansa through this royal luxury. Of course, another reason is that this is the favorite place for big stars. If you meet a big star here, won't you have the opportunity to get some star skills or even talent points? The taxi just stopped, and a handsome doorman in a red uniform opened the door very professionally and stretched out his hand to cover the roof for Sophie in a very professional way. Thank you. Sophie hurriedly thanked him. The doorman politely took Sophie's suitcase and shopping bags of various sizes and led Guran and Sophie into the hotel lobby. The Ritz Hotel is indeed a royal hotel. The hotel lobby is not only magnificent, but every detail reveals nobility and elegance. The lobby was quiet, with only a few women in low-cut dresses glancing at Guran intentionally or unintentionally. Guran unconsciously straightened his chest and raised his head. He couldn't embarrass us Chinese. Sophie seemed very nervous. This kind of top luxury hotel was really her first time. Tonight, Guran took her to experience many firsts. Goo, this place is too expensive. Why don't we change to a more ordinary hotel? Guran smiled. Sophie, I just want to give you the best. You deserve it. Sophie's heart was pounding, and she couldn't help but want to lean on Guran. Good evening, miss. Good evening, sir. A lobby manager with a butler's beard came up to them with a smile and said in a pure London accent, welcome to the Ritz Hotel. How can I help you too? We want to stay here for one night. Do you have a quiet room? Yes, sir. We have a room next to the royal garden, but... The lobby manager looked at Guran, then said with a standard professional smile, the price is a bit expensive, £1,888 a night. Although there was no obvious discrimination in the lobby manager's expression and tone, the arrogance engraved in his bones could still be felt. Sophie pulled Guran's clothes. Boo, why don't we go? Guran smiled maturely and steadily, took out his bank card, and threw it to the lobby manager. 2 rooms. Lobby manager, Sophie. Chapter 84. Wow, the room is full of beautiful stars. Sophie said shyly. Boo, actually we only need 1 room, to save some money. Guran waved his hand. Sophie, we are not short of money. Just 2 rooms. You deserve it. Sophie's mouth twitched slightly. The lobby manager immediately smiled and said, okay sir, please follow me to check in. Guran followed the lobby manager to the front desk and quickly checked in with a card and got the room card. Under the guidance of the doorman, The two took the elevator to the room on the 5th floor of the hotel. The doorman helped Sophie put her luggage and shopping bags into the room. Sophie stood at the door, her pretty face slightly red. "Boo, do you want to come in and sit down?" "Damn, it looks like tonight." Guran's heart was moved, and then he calmed down. "No, Sophie, you have an audition tomorrow, and you have to take time tonight to audition the key points I have marked for you. Audition is the real thing." If Sophie missed the audition because of this, the rest of her life would be delayed. This is also the reason why Guran insisted on opening 2 rooms. If we open a room, no one can sleep tonight. Anyway, Sophie's heart has been opened, and there will be opportunities at any time. Well, Sophie's pretty face was slightly disappointed. Then, "Good night." "Well, good night," Guran said. Sophie turned and walked towards her room, and suddenly turned back and threw herself into Guran's arms, tiptoed slightly, and took the initiative to kiss Guran on the lips. This action was full of the passion and boldness of a southern girl, as well as the shyness and clumsiness of a young girl. It was all emotion, no skills. Guran couldn't control himself in an instant, and hugged Sophie, and responded with his lips at the same time. No emotion, all skills. Sophie was trembling all over from the kiss, almost suffocating. The situation was out of control. "Doorman, you two. Don't do this. There's another person here. Please respect me." A single dog doorman, okay. At this moment, Guran tried to control his hands. "If I go any further, I really can't stop the car." To be honest, it's normal for her age and my age to not be able to stop the car. How could an old, experienced person like me not understand what she meant? The key is that tomorrow's audition is related to her stardom. She must not be delayed for life at this time. A man can be an LSP, but he must be a noble LSP. Guran took a deep breath. "Good night, Sophie." Sophie's delicate body trembled slightly, raised her blurred light blue eyes, and looked at Guran in shock and resentment. "Boo, do you dislike my small size?" "Damn. No, no. Although objectively speaking, for the truly old, no, for the truly mature men and their hearts, size is not a problem." Guran hurriedly explained. "Sophie, don't think too much. I just want you to have a good rest. Don't forget, you are here for an audition." Sophie bit her lip and looked at Guran with a complicated expression. "Gu, you are right. You are a real gentleman. Good night." "Well, good night." Guran pulled his hand back. Sophie bit her lip, lowered her head, and walked into her room, gently closing the door. Guran sighed secretly at Sophie's door. "It's easy to go in, but I'm a noble gentleman." Guran himself was touched. At this time, the doorman cleared his throat. Guran was startled. "Fuck. Why are you still here?" The doorman bowed slightly. "Sorry sir, you were busy with that lady just now, and I didn't have a chance to say, are you satisfied with my service?" Guran said perfunctorily. "Satisfied, satisfied. Thank you for your good comment." The doorman was still in no hurry to leave, but looked at Guran expectantly. "Damn tip." Guran realized that he had forgotten to tip just now. In the UK, not tipping service staff is equivalent to swearing. Guran quickly took out a £50 bill. The doorman's eyes lit up. Guran asked, "By the way, let me ask you something. Are there any big stars staying here tonight?" The doorman stared at the pounds and said, "Sorry, sir, my professional training does not allow me to disclose the information of the guests." "Well, I got the wrong person." Guran sighed and took out two £50 notes. The doorman's eyes were wide open. "No, sir, you are really good at judging people. Let me tell you, there are no big stars tonight." Guran put the two £50 notes he had just taken out back into his wallet. The doorman said quickly, "But I have news. An international superstar has already booked the royal suite for next week." Of course, the possibility of the superstar cancelling the reservation cannot be ruled out. You know, in order to avoid paparazzi, they often put out some smoke bombs like this, saying that they will live in such and such a place, but in fact, they live in another place, leaving the paparazzi empty-handed. However, it is certain that the superstar will come to the UK for vacation during this period. Guran asked curiously, "Who is this superstar you are talking about?" "Sorry, I can't reveal the guest's name," the doorman whispered in Guran's ear. "It's the actress who just finished filming Alice in Wonderland." After that, the doorman took the opportunity to take three £50 bills from Guran's hand and hurried away. Alice in Wonderland? Damn, could it be Anne Hathaway who plays the glowing white queen in the play? Question mark? It must be. Apart from Anne Hathaway, which other actress in Alice in Wonderland can have such a big name to book the royal suite and have to fight wits with the paparazzi? When he thought of Anne Hathaway, Guran's heart suddenly jumped. Anne Hathaway is a female star he likes very much. If you can meet Anne in person, it's really not possible. Calm down. First of all, the doorman's words may not be reliable, and even if Anne Hathaway can really come, she may not stay at the Ritz Hotel. Even if she really stays at the Ritz Hotel, she may not have the opportunity to get close to her within 10 meters, and it is difficult to interact. £150 of tips should be lost, right? Forget it. Don't think about it. Go back to the room and sleep. Guran returned to his room and soon fell asleep beautifully on the velvet bed. In the dream, the White Queen pushed the door barefoot and asked him if he wanted to play a game together the next morning. After eating the breakfast provided by the hotel, Guran took a taxi with Sophie to the audition. The audition office did not specify which crew it was from, only HBO's large-scale magical costume drama audition office. Guran nodded secretly. HBO TV network, magical costume, this must be correct. The entire audition office is a simple studio that can accommodate more than 500 people at the same time. At the end of the studio is a white room. That room is where the real audition takes place. All the auditioning actors need to line up in the studio, and whoever is called will go into the white room for the audition. Sophie's number is 73. The audition pace is very fast, basically one every few minutes. As the number approaches, Sophie becomes more and more nervous. Goo, I'm so scared. I see so many beautiful actors. I'm worried that I can't do it. Or should I just forget it? Guran said, don't worry, you'll be fine. I'm 100% sure. Sophie said with emotion, Goo, you're so nice. Thank you for your comfort. At this time, Guran saw a lot of young and familiar faces in the studio. Isn't that the actress who plays the little devil's lover Zuyi? The real people are even prettier than in the TV series. And more. Isn't the red-haired girl Ygritte from You Know Nothing? And the little Rose Marguerite? The real people are so beautiful. The one who is frowning and laughing, isn't she Dragon Mother Dina is? Damn, even Red Aunt Melisandre is here. The whole room is full of beautiful stars. Guran's eyes are a little too busy. For a moment, Guran felt like a wolf that broke into the sheep village. Take this opportunity to get to know them and leave a good impression. In the future, these will all be red bubbles. Sophie said nervously, Goo, it's my turn soon. What if I? Goo, where are you going? Guran said without turning his head. Sophie, you're fine. I'll go communicate and coach the other actors. Sophie, please read it again. Please read it again. Please read it again. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and reading it again is very important, which directly determines whether you can advance to the next round. Dear readers who like this book, please support me. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so the content of tomorrow's chapter is also very appropriate, you know. It's more suitable to read Just Want to Play Football while being in love on Valentine's Day. Why don't you read Just Want to Play Football quickly if you don't have a partner? Please help. Chapter 85 Audition passed. 10 minutes later, Sophie walked out of the audition room with a dull face. How can I describe this audition? It was like a dream that Guran predicted all the questions correctly. This crew is really the crew of Game of Thrones. The script fragment Sophie got in the audition room was exactly the Sansa part that Guran circled for her yesterday. Sophie only read the audition script once, and she played it easily and smoothly, no difficulty at all. In addition to playing her original acting skills normally, Sophie also accurately presented the Sansa that Guran deconstructed for him. After playing a clip, she played another clip, and then another clip. The other auditioners came out in 2 or 3 minutes, and Sophie auditioned for 10 minutes. After the audition, the casting director asked her to wait for notification. If the audition passed, she would receive a call on the same day. Sophie didn't know how she walked out of the audition room. Regardless of whether this audition can be passed, according to the flag set before, she has already lost to Guran for the rest of her life. Thinking of the situation that almost got out of control last night, Sophie's heartbeat suddenly accelerated, and her whole body became hot. By the way, where is Guran? He must be very happy to know that I have lost the rest of my life to him, right? Humph, he must be so beautiful, right? But I'm a reserved girl, I won't be so proactive. Sophie thought so, while tiptoeing to find Guran. I saw that Guran was talking about the role among a group of beautiful actresses. He didn't worry about Sophie's audition at all. Sophie was immediately furious. Sophie couldn't get angry in front of so many people, so she walked over gracefully, put her hand on Guran's arm intimately. Honey, so you are here. I've been looking for you for a long time. Hi everyone, I'm Sophie, Guran's girlfriend. Sophie wanted to stick her whole body on Guran's arm. Wow, Sophie, your boyfriend is awesome. Yeah. Your boyfriend is not only handsome, but also knows a lot. In just a few minutes, your boyfriend made us feel an indescribable feeling. I didn't have any confidence in the audition, but after being trained by your boyfriend, I'm very confident now. Do please, tell me again, what does you know nothing mean? Sorry, Sophie laughed. My boyfriend and I have something else to do, dear. I think I left something in the room of the Ritz Hotel last night. Can you accompany me back to the Ritz Hotel to get it? Okay, honey? Guran was talking so excitedly that he didn't even bother to look at Sophie's expression. Sophie, the service of the Ritz Hotel is worth using. Just call and ask them to send us to the station. Well, you can rest for a while, and I'll tell these beautiful ladies about the play. Sophie looked well behaved and sensible. Haha, okay, then you can tell me. I'm not in a hurry at all. After that, Sophie shook off Guran's arm and walked away expressionlessly. Light Sophie Turner's 100 negative emotions are sensed, and the system is generating bubbles. What the hell? Looking at the perfect red bubble that was quickly condensed and formed, Guran couldn't help but secretly hissed. I didn't see it. Sophie, this little girl, actually exploded with negative emotions. I didn't see it. This little girl's acting skills have improved again. But I really just talked about the play with a few actresses, and I really didn't mean anything else. Is this little girl so jealous? It seems that this little girl is really moved by me. Anyway, I will collect the talent points first, and then coax her after I get on the train. Girls, there are always ways to coax them. Guran immediately picked up the perfect red bubble with his mind, and then he was not in a hurry to use this talent point. Sorry, ladies, I have to go. I believe you can all pass the audition. If there is a chance in the future, I will come to visit you and play. The beautiful actresses suddenly felt lost, and their bubbles fell. Guran took a quick look and found that most of them were bubbles from performance training, body training, and dialogue training. These were not what Guran needed right now. Although there were still 9 chances left to pick up bubbles today, they could not be wasted. After returning to Southampton in the afternoon, he had to go back to school to meet his teammates and get some useful bubbles for free. Well, the main business is the most important, so it's settled. Just as Guran was about to turn around and leave, Emilia Clarke, the actress who will play the role of Dragon Mother in the future, said timidly, "Boo, can we leave you a contact number? This way, if we have any questions in the future, we can ask you for advice." The other actresses also said coquettishly, please damn. So soft. Guran suppressed his inner throbbing and smiled maturely. Of course, why not? Great. Goo, I like you. Goo, this is my phone number. My name is Natalie Dormer. Okay, don't worry, you can add them all. Guran happily saved the phone numbers of these future female stars. After saving the phone numbers, Guran smiled at these charming actresses again. Wish you good luck. These actresses' hearts were beating wildly. Guran turned around and left the studio after flirting. At this time, Sophie was standing at the door sulking. Sophie, are you still angry? Guran tried to use a charming smile to comfort Sophie, who was so jealous. Sophie's snow white neck swallowed obviously, but the expression on her face was still cold. No, you continue to communicate with your big beauties. Don't worry about me. What the hell? Why doesn't the charming smile work on Sophie? Guran smiled at Sophie again. Okay, don't be angry. I just wanted to show off to them. Well, it's getting late. Why don't we go to the train station? Sophie snorted and walked ahead quickly to prevent Guran from seeing her blushing face. 3 hours later, Guran and Sophie got on the luxury train back to Southampton. As soon as she got on the train, Sophie's phone rang. Sophie, who was still angry, frowned and answered the phone and asked in an irritable tone, "Who?" "Miss Sophie Turner, I'm the casting director of the Game of Thrones crew. I'm honored to inform you that you have passed the audition. Please prepare your personal belongings and go to a place in the suburbs of London for a month of closed training before tomorrow. The training address and signing contract have been sent to your email. Please check it." I passed. Sophie was so excited that she almost couldn't breathe. Go. Did you hear it? I actually passed. I told you a long time ago that you will definitely be fine. Guran was not surprised at all. Thank you, Gu. Sophie couldn't control herself and threw herself into Guran's arms excitedly. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I would definitely not have passed. Ahem. Actually that's right. Fortunately, I'm here. Guran smiled charmingly. You're welcome, Sophie. Actually, as long as you're not mad at me, I'm already very happy. Really? Silly. Sophie's eyes were full of crystal tears. Guran, you're such a big fool. Guran looked depressed. How did I become a big fool? Happy Valentine's Day everyone. Begging for more reading. Chapter 86. Pay attention. My girlfriend is a big star. 2 hours later. The train slowed down, the steam brakes made a hissing sound, and it slowly stopped and pulled into the station. Sophie's face was flushed, and her body was softly leaning on Guran, allowing Guran to help her get off the train. Gu, you are so mean. Guran suddenly realized that, although Sophie said mean, she was not really angry. There was not even an ordinary white bubble under Sophie's feet. This shows that Sophie was in complete and real sweetness at this moment. Guran held Sophie's face and said emotionally, Sophie, I will definitely treat you well. Anyway, Sophie was leaving tomorrow. It was easy for Guran to treat Sophie well for a day. Sophie leaned sweetly in Guran's arms. My dear, I don't ask for anything else. I just hope that when you are free in the future, you can come to visit me and bring me some delicious food. For example, the spicy and chewy thing you treated me to last night. By the way, what is that thing called? That thing is called. Guran cleared his throat. I'll tell you next time I treat you to it. Hate it. You are so bad. Teasing me on purpose again. Sophie shyly hit Guran's chest again. Walking out of the station, Guran raised his hand to hail a taxi. Mr. Driver, go to Southampton School. Sophie asked in surprise. Why go to school? Shouldn't we go home? Guran said, oh, it's a bit early to go home now. I want you to accompany me to see my teammates. The main thing is, there are 9 progress that have not been picked up today, and it can't be wasted. Sophie's pretty face turned red. Hate, you must want to show me off in front of your teammates and brothers as a trophy, right? No, I'm really fine. If you insist on thinking so, then take it as it is. Guran was no longer able to explain. Sophie was not angry, but obediently lay in Guran's arms. I'm willing to be your trophy. I'm willing to be taken out by you to show off in front of others. For you, I'm willing to do anything. It really is the feeling of first love. Guran's heart beat suddenly, and he couldn't help but lower his head and kiss Sophie. Sophie, you are so good. No, you are the best. No, you are the best. The two kissed passionately in the back seat. The poor taxi driver dropped white bubbles from driving all the way. After arriving at the school, Guran hugged the delicate Sophie and came to the training ground. At this moment, the teammates on the training ground were sweating profusely preparing for the game the day after tomorrow. When they saw Guran and Sophie, the teammates immediately stopped training and surrounded them. Hey, Gu, why are you here at the training ground instead of resting at home? Oh, I just accompanied Sophie to the crew for an audition, and I came back to see you guys. Guran calmly hugged Sophie's slender waist. Audition for the crew? Is Sophie going to be a big star? All the teammates widened their eyes and pricked up their ears. Guran cleared his throat and said proudly, yes, you all know about HBO, right? HBO's annual magical epic drama is about to start filming, and Sophie will play a very important role in the drama. Sophie leaned on Guran's arms with a shy face. "Oh, my dear, I haven't become a big star yet, don't say that." Guran said proudly. "It's only a matter of time. My girlfriend is a big star." Wow. Fuck, Gu, you are so fucking stupid. I'm so envious. Is this really something you can get if you are good at playing football? Sophie, can you sign an autograph for me first? All the teammates were envious. You know, in a place like Southampton, there haven't been any big entertainment stars in 800 years. Now a female classmate from the same school is about to become famous. This is like a golden phoenix flying out of a chicken coop. Among the teammates present, some have had several girlfriends, and some have been rejected 50 times when they confessed their love. But no matter who it is, who has the ability to date a big star girlfriend? Only Guran. Guran is really a winner in life. He is handsome, plays football well, and his girlfriend is a big star. And she is the kind who obeys him in everything. Is this going to make people live? Lights, 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 lights. White bubbles condensed and formed under the feet of teammates. The number far exceeded 9. What Guran noticed in particular was that a full blue bubble appeared under the feet of Rusty Strip. Damn, last time I got Rusty Strip's second combined force collision skill. Can I get the third one this time? Guran took the opportunity to concentrate his mind and saw confession skill +1 as soon as there is a chance. Warm tips. After acquiring this skill, the host will confess as soon as possible. Please note that the success rate of confession of this skill is affected by the objective conditions of the host. Improving the level of this skill can increase the frequency of confession as soon as possible, but it cannot increase the probability of success. This confession of confession as soon as possible has nothing to do with the skill itself. What a reverse magic skill. Rusty, you are actually confessing as soon as possible. Rusty, your confession technique has at least 9+ signs, right? It's too damn dangerous. Fortunately, the C level has a visualization function. Otherwise, if I confess to a girl with my objective conditions, would I have time to play football? Guran took another quick glance and then used his mind to collect 9 of the white bubbles of physical training results and strength training results through the air. As the white light merged into Guran's body, Guran suddenly felt a lot more relaxed. Now, there is still a talent point that was picked up in the studio before. Today, I picked up 9 more football specific training results. Tomorrow, I only need to pick up 1 more training result to exchange for a new talent point. However, I have to save my talent points in the future. After all, Sophie will leave tomorrow. Oh, don't say it. I really can't bear to let her go. Guran subconsciously hugged Sophie and said to his teammates, "Okay, it's time for us to go home. Come on." Fuck. Ad 6. The teammates watched Guran hug Sophie, talking and laughing, turning away sweetly and stickily. Guran, how can you let us train like this? Damn it. Why did he pretend to be me again? Gu, show your affection. Die soon. Gu, teach me. I beg you. Guran is really amazing. I envy him so much. Half an hour later, Guran and Sophie return home. Chapter 87. Sophie, why did you come just now? When Guran and Sophie arrived home, Andrew and Sally were sitting in the living room waiting. As soon as Andrew saw Guran, he immediately jumped up eagerly and excitedly. "Oh my god. My dear Gu. You are finally back. I have been waiting for you for so long that my hair is almost falling out." "Damn, Uncle Andrew, you can't try to scam me. Your hair was almost falling out before I met you, okay?" Guran hurriedly said. "Uncle, let's talk it out. Isn't it because of that weight?" Gu, let's go out and talk. Before Guran could even say the word spinach, Andrew hurriedly hugged Guran's shoulders and hinted wildly. Sally frowned and said, "What are you two doing sneakily?" Andrew grinned and said, "Nothing. I just talked to Guran about some things between men." As he said that, Andrew pulled Guran out of the house. Guran apologized. "I'm sorry, Uncle. I almost let it slip that you used your private money to gamble." Andrew covered his heart. Don't say it. I almost peed myself just now." Gu, your feeling is right. The mysterious Eastern metaphysics is really amazing. In yesterday's game, Real Madrid really got 2 red cards, and Messi scored 2 goals. Why didn't I listen to you at that time? It must be that you were not firm enough in persuading me at that time. Duran, how firm can I be? I can't just slap you in the face and force you to buy with me, right? Andrew covered his heart and continued, oh, if I had bought the unpopular with you, I would have got £145,000 now. I really regret it. I swear now. I will absolutely, and completely follow you to buy in the future. From today on, whatever you buy, I will buy. I believe you. Go. Duran hurriedly said, no, uncle, don't believe it, really. Andrew immediately frowned. Sure enough, I knew that your reaction was the same as I guessed. You must be angry because I didn't buy it with you yesterday, so you deliberately didn't take me to play. Well, can't uncle apologize to you? Uncle admits that uncle was wrong before. Even if you don't do it for uncle's face, you have to take uncle with you for Sophie's face. Don't think I don't know about you and Sophie. Damn, Duran was shocked. How did you know what happened on the train just now? Uncle, listen to my explanation, Duran said with a dry mouth. What happened at that time? Andrew covered his heart and waved his hands repeatedly. No. Shut up. Don't tell me the details. Oh, I'm so upset. I want to know your spinach order today now. Uncle, if you follow me to buy today, you will be more upset. Testing uncle? Right? Haha, boo. You must be testing uncle. Andrew immediately said, boo, you don't have to do this. Really, uncle can stand the test. From now on, uncle will not analyze, just follow you to buy. How you buy, uncle will buy. Uncle, this is really not a test of me today. I really bought it blindly. I will tell you when I feel it. Okay? Stop talking nonsense. Give it to you. Andrew snatched Duran's mobile phone and checked the spinach order that Duran placed this morning. The odds are 380 times. Andrew said happily, I want to make a fortune. Duran rubbed his temple helplessly. It's not a big deal to make a mistake once. It's not a big deal to make a mistake twice. The hard part is to make a mistake every time. Uncle Andrew, you are really a talent. At the same time, Sophie and Sally were also having a heart-to-heart talk. Sophie said happily, Mom, I want to solemnly announce something to you. I know, Mom knows everything. Sally looked at Sophie with the eyes of an experienced person. Sophie couldn't help but widen her eyes. What? You know? Sally smiled proudly. Mom is an experienced person. What doesn't Mom know? Don't you just want to talk about you and Duran being together? Mom knew it yesterday. Sophie was stunned for a moment. Yesterday? We were just on the train back today. My mom can predict the future and tell fortunes? That's not right. Sophie's pretty face turned red. Wait, Mom, I did get together with Duran. I admit that, but that's not what I want to talk about. Now it was Sally's turn to be stunned. Sophie, are you pregnant? What? Sophie stomped her feet in embarrassment. Mom, you are so silly. There's no way I can know at all. Sally breathed a sigh of relief. That's right. It's only been one day. It's impossible to know so soon. Sophie said excitedly, what I want to tell you is that I have passed the audition for HBO's Game of Thrones. I'm going to debut as an actor. Sally's face was immediately filled with horror. What do you mean, your HBO company? Sophie was so excited that she was about to cry. Yes. Sally said excitedly, is it the company that filmed Spartacus? Oh, God. Spartacus. I love it so much. I watch every episode several times. Sophie, Mom, I haven't seen the movie Spartacus you mentioned, but I know it's produced by Starz. That's not the point. What I want to say is, I'm going to the closed base for training tomorrow, and I'm leaving. Sally gave Sophie a big hug. Congratulations, my daughter. I didn't expect that you would actually become an actor. You would actually star in Spartacus too. This is Mom's dream. Mom, I'm going to star in Game of Thrones. Okay. No matter what you play, Mom is happy for you. From now on, you will be an actor. Mom believes you will become a big star. What do you want to eat tonight? Mom will make it for you now. Sophie thought for a while. I want to eat something spicy and bouncy. Sally asked in surprise. What is that? I don't know. Anyway, it's a kind of Chinese food that Guran took me to eat. It's delicious. Sophie couldn't help drooling when she recalled the spicy feeling. Goo. Goo. Sally rushed out of the room and found Guran. That night, Sophie's family had classic mayo wang, boiled pork slices, and spicy chicken. This dinner was treated by Guran, who specially found a Chinese restaurant to prepare and send it over. From the taste of the dishes, it must be quite different, but Sophie's family all ate very happily. The whole family was very happy, except Andrew. The 380-fold odds of the spinach order lost. Andrew had a bitter heart, but couldn't say it. He could only eat big mouthfuls of rice, while secretly swearing in his heart, if he buys according to Guran's so-called feelings in the future, Andrew Turner, will call him daddy. After dinner, Guran washed up and went to bed early. The game will be the day after tomorrow, and I have to get up early tomorrow to return to training. Not to mention the long journey today. I also had a lot of things on the train, so I have to go to bed early tonight. Sophie must be very tired today. She shouldn't come tonight. Even if she comes, I will firmly refuse and try my best to persuade her not to do so. After all, we are all people who want to build careers. When Guran was thinking this, Sophie, wearing a thin gauze nightgown, quietly pushed the door open and walked in. Click. Sophie locked the door. Guran sat up from the bed. Sophie, why are you here just now? A mature reader should imagine the plot by himself. Chapter 88 is out. Are you ready to be surprised? The next morning, Guran woke up with his eyes open, gently removed Sophie's thighs that were pressing on him, and put on his clothes. Recalling the scene last night, Guran directly added the talent points he had picked up in the studio to his physical attributes. The physical attribute increased from 61 points to 62 points. Guran took a deep breath, and the physical energy consumed last night was restored a little. What the hell? This is a very good use. Guran kissed Sophie's cheek, who was still sleeping, and then left the room contentedly and went to the kitchen to make himself a hearty and nutritious breakfast. After breakfast, Guran took a taxi to school without waiting for Andrew to get up. When Guran changed into training clothes and came to the training ground, most of the main players were already on the training ground. Tomorrow, the Bucks Steel Horns will play against the Tunbridge School Wild Boar Jazz. Every main player knows the importance of this game. Today, Southampton School also deliberately allowed these main players to skip classes to give the players more time to train. When the main players arrived, the captain, Mayan Bayo, led the team to warm up. The warm-up run was still 15 minutes. This time, Guran took the lead and ran at the front of the team. The main players could keep up at the beginning, but in the second half, most of the main players were already out of breath. However, Guran began to exert his strength in the second half, and the frequency became faster and faster. Although some physical strength and energy were consumed yesterday afternoon and last night, after adding a physical point this morning, Guran's physical condition has basically returned to the level of the day before yesterday. When the 15-minute warm-up run was over, the whole team was once again lapped by Guran. Captain Mayan Bayo couldn't help asking, "Boo, why do I feel that you are more powerful than the day before yesterday? How did you train?" This is a long story. In addition to my talent for free training results, the most important thing is that I work hard. Of course, I also have to thank Coach Carter for his extreme training and teacher Mariah for her professional physical therapy. The most important thing is that I really want to play football. Guran took a deep breath and said calmly, "To be honest, I didn't show my true level today." Rusty next to him asked curiously, "Why do you say that?" Minato quickly covered Rusty's mouth. "Don't ask, don't give him the chance to show off, it's too late." Guran said, "Sophie is leaving this afternoon. Before she leaves, we have to do that. Yesterday afternoon, plus last night. So, if she hadn't insisted on doing that, I should have been able to do it faster today." The main players present were instantly broken. Lights bubbles were falling. They were already very depressed because they were trapped twice by Guran, the new guy, and then Guran said that his celebrity girlfriend took the initiative to pester him to do that. This Chinese boy is really good at showing off. Minato glared at Rusty in anger. "I told you not to ask." Rusty scratched his head in confusion. What does it mean? What is that? What is that? Guran quickly scanned the bubbles in front of him. In this wave of bubbles, there were actually 2 blue bubbles. One of the blue bubbles was from the Archer glider, and the bubble displayed the content, mobile phone candid photography +1. Guran. The other blue bubble was from Minato, and the bubble content was 2-on-1 coordination +1. Damn. This skill must be acquired. I have already gotten the 2-on-1 coordination +1 from Minato for free before. Based on these actual combats, this ordinary skill is very practical. Guran's mind condensed, and the blue skill bubble under Minato's feet immediately exploded brilliantly in the air, turning into a ray of light, and merging into Guran's body. Like the host has picked up the skill from the filled bubble, 2-on-1 +1. Since the host already has the 2-on-1 +1 skill, it will be upgraded to 2-on-1 +2 after this pickup. Today's pickup progress is 1/10. So cool. Fortunately, there is a visualization function, otherwise Minato's skill bubble would have been missed. Next, Guran quickly browsed the other white training results bubbles. Still prioritize physical training, followed by strength training, defensive pressing training and passing training. Guran concentrated his mind and picked up all the remaining 9 progress in one breath. Light warm reminder, the host has collected 100 hours of special training results and now has 1 corresponding talent point. Great. Keep this talent point for now, don't rush to add it. The previous shortboard physical attribute has reached 62 points. With 62 points of physical fitness, it will definitely be no problem to play the full game in the All England High School Student Competition, so this newly exchanged talent point can wait until tomorrow's game and temporarily add points according to the situation on the scene. I don't know if I can start in tomorrow's game. After the warm-up exercise, head coach Carter came to the training ground with a stern face. The last team practice before the game of the Bucks Steelhorns officially began. Because it was a pre-match training, the overall intensity was not high, and the focus of the training content was mainly on tactical cooperation. Under the command of Coach Carter, Guran got the opportunity to switch positions with Bread, Plum, and Minato. The rhythm of the whole team also began to actively merge with Guran's rhythm. Fusion is a two-way process. If only Guran wanted to integrate into the team, the process would be very slow and the effect would not be very good. However, when the whole team took the initiative to merge with Guran, the style of the Bucks Steelhorns was reflected. The foundation of the Bucks Steelhorns is still not bad. Their previous core tactics were also the core tactics of the left side. Now that they are playing the left side tactics again, the Bucks Steelhorns can be said to be like a fish in water. The cooperation on the left side of the Bucks Steelhorns has improved significantly, and the attack has become much sharper, although there are still mistakes. Carter gave loud instructions on the sidelines, asking the main players to pay more attention to Guran's running position. From time to time, Coach Carter would angrily scold players who made mistakes. After a day of training, almost every player was scolded by Coach Carter. Only Guran was not scolded. After the training that day, Carter was not in a hurry to disband the team, but called all the players in front of him to give a lecture. The players all lined up in front of Carter obediently. Next, announce the list of tomorrow's starting lineup. Coach Carter took out the list that had been prepared long ago and read the names one by one. Left back, Coach Carter paused, then his eyes fell on Guran. Guran's heart jumped suddenly. Finally, in tomorrow's game, he can finally start. Guran suppressed his inner ecstasy and tried to keep his face calm. The other players couldn't help but make sounds of surprise and envy. You know, Guran has only joined the school team for 5 days and has only participated in one official game, but he got the starting position in the second game. This treatment is unique in the history of the Bucks Steelhorns team for more than 100 years. Guran, this Chinese boy, is really amazing. After reading the starting lineup, Carter said in a deep voice, the game will start at 3 PM tomorrow. We will gather at the train station at 9 AM. Don't be late. In addition, tomorrow's game is very important. No one is allowed to be affectionate tonight. Yes, coach. Disband. After the disbandment, Carter waved to Guran again. Carter said earnestly, Boo, remember, no affectionate tonight. Guran immediately promised. Coach, don't worry. I will never be affectionate tonight. Carter nodded with satisfaction and said meaningfully, tomorrow's game, you have to play well. Do you understand? Question mark question mark question mark. Although he didn't understand why Carter emphasized this point, Duran still nodded vigorously and said, yes, coach. Okay, go. After Duran ran away, Carter looked at Duran's back and said in a voice that only he could hear, are old rice ready to be surprised? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. Are you using me to level up? After the breakup, Duran went back to the locker room and took a quick shower, then changed into clean clothes and headed straight for the train station. Sophie was about to leave by train. As Sophie's nominal boyfriend and actual man, Duran naturally had to see Sophie off. When Duran arrived at the station, Sophie was saying goodbye to Andrew and Sally on the platform. Sophie seemed a little careless, but when she saw Duran, her pretty face immediately broke into a smile. Sophie ran over excitedly and hung on Duran's neck like a koala. Honey, you're finally here. I thought I would never see you again. How could that be? Duran held Sophie skillfully. No matter what I forget, I will never forget to see you off. Hate it. I don't believe it. Sophie's eyes were full of sweetness. Duran was very reluctant to lose Sophie, his magic weapon. Sophie pouted and said, kiss. Duran cleared his throat. No, your parents are still here. Sophie took the initiative to kiss Duran. Southern girls are so passionate. Oh, God. I feel like my heart is blocked. Sophie's parents all turned their faces away in embarrassment, not wanting to look directly at each other. Duran and Sophie continued to be sweet and sticky. Sophie said, honey, I suddenly don't want to leave, at least not today. I want to stay one more night, talk to you tonight, and I'll leave early tomorrow morning. Okay. Damn, don't want this? Are you staying just to talk? The key is that I have an important game tomorrow. I want to start. Duran hurriedly said, my dear, although I'm reluctant to leave you, you must put your career first. You have finally got the opportunity to be an actor. What if you delay your time because of me, and your role is taken away by someone else? Sophie's face suddenly tightened. Let's not talk about it. I'll get on the train quickly. Bye, my dear. I will always miss you. Promise me that you will come to visit the crew as soon as you have time, okay? Duran helped Sophie onto the train and said, I will. I will visit the crew as soon as I have time. Promise me. For me, you must take good care of yourself. I will. I will take good care of myself. Promise me. Don't mess around with other women. Ah. What? The steam noise is too loud. I didn't hear it clearly. I said promise me. Don't mess around with other women. Take care on the way, Sophie. Dirty. The train started slowly. The infrastructure in the UK is too poor. It's 2010, and they are still using steam trains that are so noisy. Duran breathed a sigh of relief and waved goodbye to Sophie, who was gradually moving away and shouting. As the train left, this part with Sophie came to an end. It may not be so easy to directly gain talent points in the future. Talent points are basically only easy to obtain with the negative emotions of stars. But where can you find decent stars in a countryside like Southampton? Forget it. Let's focus on tomorrow's game. On the way back, Duran told Andrew and Sally that he was going to move out. Since Sophie is gone and he has money, there is no point in staying in the Turner family. It is better to move out early, rent a big house, and buy a liquid nitrogen freezing capsule. Andrew and Sally were naturally very surprised to hear that Duran was going to move out and tried to persuade him to stay. But Duran had made up his mind and Andrew and Sally couldn't force him. Goo, there will always be a room for you at the Turner family. Goo, you don't have to move out in a hurry. You can slowly look for a suitable place until you find it and then move. Thank you. Thank you Uncle Andrew. Thank you Aunt Sally. The next morning, Duran took a taxi to the train station. At this time, most of the main players of the Bucks Steel Horns were already waiting to get on the train on the platform. Just like the situation when they saw him off at the school gate before, the girlfriends of the players also came to the platform to see him off. These girlfriends were all dressed up and competed with each other for beauty. When Guran came to the platform, he immediately attracted everyone's attention. Hi. Gu. Why are you here alone? Ha ha ha. Sophie is gone, right? You don't have a girlfriend, right? No one came to see you off, right? Minato laughed sarcastically. Boo. Do you remember what I said? The whole team shouted together. Show your love. Die soon. Ha ha ha. Guran smiled at this group of idiots and didn't care at all. Being able to make such a joke about friends also shows that his teammates are no longer shy with him. Guran said immediately, it would be better if no one saw me off. My goal is just to play football. I don't want anything else. Yushiro put his arm around Guran's shoulders and sincerely comforted him. Boo. Don't force yourself. I know how it feels to not have a girlfriend. Guran glared at Yushiro unhappily, and just as he was talking, he heard a voice coming from far away. Hey Gu. Wait. Everyone on the platform was stunned. Didn't Sophie leave? Why did someone come to see Guran off? Guran himself was stunned. He turned around and saw little green Susanna, wearing a low-cut white miniskirt, jogging over. Here she comes again. So annoying. Guran couldn't help but frown slightly. Gu. I'm here to see you off. Come on. I hope you can win the game for me and our Southampton school. Susanna panted and flirted. My blessing is very useful. Guran said coldly, thank you. Susanna smiled coquettishly. What are you thanking me for? Sophie is gone, so it's naturally my turn to take care of you. Damn it, Guran immediately rejected it. That's not the case. No need. Susanna chuckled. Boo. You are so shy. Are all Chinese boys as shy as you? It doesn't matter. It's your business if you don't need it. But I will still take care of you silently, and you don't need to have any psychological pressure. Really no need. I accept your blessing. Bye. Guran turned around and planned to get on the bus. At this moment, a large group of girls holding cheering signs rushed into the platform. Guran. We love you. Husband. You will win. God of men. Come on. Damn it. What's going on again? Didn't these girls quit being fans last time? Why are they here again this time? And there seem to be more of them. Guran was surprised to see that there was a conspicuous cheering board that read, be Guran's girlfriend, and I can become a big star too. Guran, are you using me to level up? How can this be? Guran hurriedly walked towards the train with his head down. The main players were all envious. They thought no one would come to see Guran off this time. As a result, the scene was even more spectacular than the first time. Yushiro squatted on the ground and drew circles. They are all liars. I'm the only one who doesn't have a girl to see me off. Just as Guran stepped one foot onto the train, another voice came from a distance. Guran, wait a minute. Guran couldn't help but tremble all over. What the hell could this voice be? Chapter 90, the only exclusive treatment for the entire team. Guran subconsciously looked back and saw Teacher Mariah pushing a small suitcase. Teacher Mariah wore a mature and heavy makeup today, with delicate gold-rimmed glasses on her nose, and a sky blue plaid old dress, which wrapped her proud S-shaped figure beautifully. With black stockings and 8cm high heels, as well as her cold and arrogant expression, she was completely a queen with a strong aura. The students on the platform instantly became quiet. Even Susanna, who was cheesing, subconsciously stepped back 2 steps and made way. Teacher Mariah ignored everyone and walked straight to Guran, saying with a look of anger, Boo, what's wrong with you? You asked me for my phone number that day, why didn't you call me? All students? Guran, Teacher Mariah, I'm a little busy recently. In the past 2 days, I have to help Sophie audition, talk to Sophie, and train. It's really busy. Moreover, they haven't moved out of Turner's house yet, and haven't bought a liquid nitrogen freezing capsule, so Guran didn't even think about calling Teacher Mariah. But this is actually not a big deal, at least not a wrong thing. But when Teacher Mariah asked him this, Guran suddenly felt guilty for Teacher Mariah. Teacher Mariah today, the aura of a queen is too strong. No, I'm an old hand who has been leading for 12 years. How can I be overwhelmed by the aura of a queen? Guran secretly took a deep breath and smiled at Teacher Mariah calmly. A charming smile. Come on. Hurt each other. Teacher Mariah's face flushed and she laughed. Okay, I'll forgive you if you carry my luggage on the car. Okay, Teacher Mariah, of course there is no problem. Guran quickly took Mariah's luggage and at the same time couldn't help asking curiously, Teacher Mariah, are you going to London to play? This train is bound for London. The Bucks Steel Horns also had to get off at London Station first, then changed to a chartered bus and head to Tunbridge High School in Kent. Mariah smiled and said, of course not, I'm here to accompany you to the game this time. Guran froze while carrying the suitcase. Damn, Mariah, don't tease me. I can't control myself when you tease me. Guran hurriedly said, Teacher Mariah, don't joke. Mariah stroked her wavy hair by her ears in a seductive manner. I'm not kidding you. I'm here to accompany you this time. If you don't believe me, you can go ask your coach. Damn, it's true. Guran himself was stunned. The others present were even more stunned. What's going on? Question mark? I thought no one would come to see Guran off this time, but in the end, Susanna came first, and she couldn't be driven away. It would have been fine if Susanna came, but then a large group of female fans came to support him. It would have been fine if there were female fans to support him. I thought that after Sophie left, there would be no other women to see Guran off, but who knew that the last one to come was Teacher Mariah. What's even more amazing is that Teacher Mariah sent him to the car directly and accompanied him all the way. Who can send the girlfriends of other players to the car and accompany them all the way? Guran, you are such a ruthless guy. Your girlfriend Sophie just left and you seamlessly connected. And you also connected with the teacher? You are playing too much. At this moment, everyone's defense was broken. Especially Susanna. Susanna thought that after Sophie left, she would have no opponent in Southampton, and she would conquer Guran with her heart sooner or later. But in the end, the opponent turned out to be Teacher Mariah. Everyone on the platform's negative emotion bubbles popped wildly. Even the train attendants who had nothing to do with it started dropping bubbles. His Guran looked around. Except for Teacher Mariah, the entire platform was densely packed with bubbles. This wave was spectacular. Not to mention, Teacher Mariah was quite useful. However, having said that, although there were many bubbles on the platform, there were actually not many that could be used. The 5 blue bubbles were all useless garbage skills. Guran selected 2 bubbles of physical training results from a large pile of white bubbles and collected them with his mind. As for the rest, he ignored them all. A maximum of 10 bubbles can be picked up every day. Today is the game against the Tunbridge Wild Boar Dukes, so we have to keep the progress and pick up the opponents. Although the Wild Boar Dukes are currently at the bottom with 0 points, they are still a second tier team after all, and their overall strength is much stronger than the Bucks Steel Horns. As for why we have to use up to pick up progress first, because we only need 2 training results to exchange for a new talent point. Sure enough, when Guran collected 2 bubbles of physical training results with his mind, a familiar system prompt sounded in his mind. Light warm reminder, the host has collected 100 hours of special training results and now has 1 corresponding talent point. This talent point should continue to be saved and will be determined at the competition site. Guran immediately picked up Teacher Mariah's small suitcase. Teacher Mariah, you go first. Lady first. Guran still understands this. Teacher Mariah smiled charmingly and stepped onto the iron ladder of the train. This figure is so great that Guran hurriedly followed behind. After getting on the train, Teacher Mariah sat side by side with Guran. Teacher Mariah's neck exuded the smell of Channel perfume, which was really nice. Guran felt his thighs touching Teacher Mariah's stockings and quickly retracted his legs. Teacher Mariah chuckled and leaned close to Guran's shoulder and whispered, "Boo, you're so cute." Guran cleared his throat and changed the subject. "So Teacher Mariah, you are here to be the team doctor for our Bucks Steel Horns, right?" Teacher Mariah curled her lips and leaned lazily on the back of her chair. "Didn't I say it? I'm just here to keep you company. I'm not interested in being the team doctor for your entire team. Your coach Carter said that I only need to help you with some muscle therapy during your halftime break, and I don't care about anyone else." Damn Guran, Didn't expect that I would be treated this way. After hearing the conversation between the two, Rusty immediately shouted in the car, "This is unfair. Why did the coach only arrange physical therapy for Goo?" Minato also said angrily, "Isn't the coach too partial this time? I'm the core of the team. Why does the coach treat Guran better than me?" The coach is not treating Guran with the standard of a core player, but simply treating Guran with the standard of filial piety. "Goo, I'm not targeting you, I'm only targeting the coach," Rusty shouted loudly. That's right. The coach, a filial son, treats Guran as his father. As soon as he finished speaking, Carter stepped into the car. The car immediately became quiet, and Rusty obediently sat back in the car. Carter glanced majestically at the carriage, first confirming that Guran and Mariah had arrived. Then he stepped in front of Rusty. "Rusty, what the hell did you just say?" Rusty whispered. "Coach, I just said that you are our father," Carter said in a deep voice. 500 frog jumps. "I'll put it down for you first," Rusty said aggrievedly. "Coach, it was Minato who..." Minato immediately shouted, "Rusty, you bastard who insulted the coach. I, Minato, will never forgive you. How can I be teammates with this group of idiots?" Guran covered his face and didn't want to see. Teacher Mariah next to him yawned and leaned on Guran's shoulder without any mind. "Lend me your shoulder. I'm going to take a nap." "Wait, I haven't agreed yet." Chapter 91 Emotions Ignited. Is the coach crazy? At 11 AM, the train arrived at London Station. After getting off the train, the players immediately changed to the chartered bus that the drummer had contacted long ago and headed to Tunbridge, Kent, southeast of London. Tunbridge High School, one of the 3 largest aristocratic schools in the UK, is located in Tunbridge. This was originally the fief of an old noble. In 1533, the noble developed this wasteland into a school for the education of the royal nobles. Therefore, Tunbridge High School has a history of nearly 500 years. In history, many members of the British royal family have studied here. Of course, the most amazing thing about Tunbridge High School is that as a middle school, they actually have a TSC sports center covering an area of more than 20,000 square meters, and some of the sports venues have reached the level of the Olympics. After taking a chartered bus for more than an hour, the Bucks Steel Horns arrived at this famous aristocratic public school. The players of the Wild Boar Jazz did not come to greet them. Only a sweeted staff member with an arrogant face who looked at people from above his nose came to contact them. Rather than leading and accompanying the team, the staff member was more like supervising the whole process, as if he was afraid that the country bumpkins from Southampton would steal or damage their Tunbridge Middle School's things. Apart from the obvious contemptuous arrogance, the rest of the process went smoothly. At 12 o'clock, the Bucks Steel Horns entered the Tunbridge Middle School staff restaurant for lunch. Yes, not the student restaurant, but the staff restaurant. Originally, Rusty and others were very angry about this, but after entering the staff restaurant, Rusty and others no longer cared about being angry. Every dish in the Tunbridge Centre staff meal is exquisite like a work of art. Compared with the Manchester Grammar School's buffet and the Tunbridge Centre staff meal, the Manchester Grammar School's buffet is in the style of an Alvorish. After lunch, the Bucks Steel Horns players rested for another hour, and then came to the designated training ground of Tunbridge Middle School for pre-match training. At 2:30 in the afternoon, the Bucks Steel Horns, led by the arrogant suit staff, came to the visiting team's locker room at Tunbridge Stadium No. 3. Compared with the visiting team locker room of Manchester Grammar School, the visiting team locker room of Tunbridge Stadium No. 3 is just like a 5-star hotel. Not only is it big, but it also exudes aristocratic exquisiteness and high-end feeling everywhere. The locker room is clean and spotless, and there is even a separate physiotherapy room. And this is not the best stadium or the best locker room of Tunbridge Middle School. Rusty couldn't help but say, these noble guys are so damn extravagant. They have such a grand locker room. However, just from the locker room, they are better than those bastards on the Corsair. Minato sneered, you are wrong. The Wild Boar Jazz are good at being human. They just think they are too noble and disdain the tricks of us commoners. When the official game starts later, don't be polite. Even if we can't win, we have to kick those dead nobles who look down on others to death. Yes, go to them. The players of the Bucks Steel Horns clenched their fists in response. Coach Carter walked into the locker room, swept his eyes across the field with dignity, and began to lecture. To be honest, in the pre-match training just now, you did not achieve the results I expected. I'm not very satisfied, and you still have a lot of headaches, but there is no other way now. The game is about to begin. However, I still have to say a few more words. This game is the most important game we have ever faced. Everyone knows that the Tunbridge Wild Boars Jazz we are facing today currently have 0 points. In the last round, they lost to the Rugby Golden Fleece. And today, when they return to their home court, they will definitely try their best and take 3 points from us at all costs. They regard us as the bottom of the fish, and a rotten and smelly bottom of the fish. They think we are bound to lose. Carter paused for a moment and asked in a cold tone, "So, tell me, are you the bottom of the fish?" The entire Bucks Steelhorns team roared, "No, coach, we are not." Carter raised his voice again, "Are you fucking country bumpkins and stinky fishmongers?" The Bucks Steelhorns roared wildly, "No, coach, we are not." Coach Carter sneered, "The slogans are loud, but you will most likely lose this game, and even lose miserably." The players of the Bucks Steelhorns all lowered their heads. Indeed, objectively speaking, the strength gap between the two teams is very large. The Bucks Steelhorns still have big problems, and this is the other team's home court. Carter continued to say contemptuously, "With our current passing and coordination that always makes mistakes, how can we not lose? So, we are indeed the stinking fish in the impression of those nobles. Deep down, do you all think so?" The players immediately clenched their fists tightly. Captain Bread stood up, "Coach, whoever dares to think so in the Bucks Steelhorns, I will be the first to kill him. Yes, whoever dares to think so, we will kill him. Southampton Bucks Steelhorns, no matter how weak we are, we will never surrender to the nobles. Today we must kick the shit out of Tunbridge." The atmosphere in the visiting team's locker room was bursting. Duran knew that this was Coach Carter's rhetoric, but standing next to these middle school teammates, Duran himself couldn't help but get a little excited. Coach Carter smiled and then disappeared in a flash. "Very good. If you all really think so, then our Bucks Steelhorns still have hope of appearing in the group. Qualify from the group." "Coach, you didn't make a slip of the tongue, did you? In the death group, qualify from the group as the 4th worst team. I dare not even dream of thinking so. I didn't make a mistake," Carter said in a deep voice. "I was talking about qualifying from the group. From the beginning to the end, my goal, Lama Carter, was very clear. That is to lead you to qualify from the group. We already have 1 point. As long as we can tie the Wild Boar Jazz in today's game, and then return to our home court to win the Rugby Golden Fleece in the 3rd round, we can accumulate 5 points and qualify as the 2nd in Group E." As soon as these words came out, the entire visiting team's locker room was in an uproar. Is the coach crazy? It's hard to tie the Wild Boar Jazz, and the coach actually wants to beat the Golden Fleece, the runner-up last year. Is the coach speaking in a sarcastic way? I think he is speaking in a sarcastic way. He is mocking us. Well, the big coach can do such a mocking thing. Almost all the players thought that Coach Carter was talking in his sleep. Only Guran's eyes lit up slightly. As a reborn with 12 years of experience, Guran immediately understood Coach Carter's strategy. Coach Carter continued to explain, "If you can tie the Wild Boar Jazz today, then who else in our group E can threaten Rugby Golden Fleece's first place in the group? When there is no suspense about the Golden Fleece's first place in the group, they will definitely not waste the physical strength of their main players for an away game that has no practical significance. They will prepare for the round of 16 knockouts, the quarterfinals, and even the semi-finals and the championship and runner-up battles. I can tell you 100% that when we return to our home court in the 3rd round, we only need to face the Golden Fleece substitute team. We will get our 3 points from the Golden Fleece substitute team. That's my strategy." Carter took a deep breath and raised his voice to ask, "So you tell me, at our Southampton Bucks Steelhorns home court, you can't beat a substitute team?" "No, coach, we can." The emotions of all the Bucks Steelhorns players were completely ignited. They really saw the hope of qualifying from the group. Before, the players also knew that they had to play hard, but no one dared to think about qualifying from the group. And now, after Carter's analysis, it is really possible to qualify from the group. The premise is to draw, or even beat the Wild Boar Jazz. Okay, Carter slowly raised his head. Prove it to me. Yes, coach. All the players roared in response. Duran also roared loudly. Chapter 92, An Unexpected Incident. All the members of the Bucks Steelhorns team are villains. 20 minutes before the official start of the game, the main players of the Bucks Steelhorns changed their clothes and went out to adapt to the field. Generally, the visiting team goes out first to adapt to the field, and then the home team goes out to adapt to the field. This tradition is also to show the courtesy and respect of the home team. After walking out of the player tunnel, you can see a huge Wild Boar Duke team emblem on the ground near the field. This team emblem is also the family emblem of the knight who founded this school. Generally, the visiting team players will avoid stepping on the home team's team emblem to show courtesy and respect. When the Bucks Steelhorns entered the field, the stands of the Tunbridge No. 3 Stadium were already full of home team students who came to watch the game. There are not many students in Tunbridge Middle School, only about 300 or 400 people in total. The students of Tunbridge Middle School sang the Wild Boar Jazz team song on the loudspeakers in the stands and waved the Wild Boar Knight team flag crazily. Some radical students even pinched their noses and mocked the Bucks Steelhorns when they entered the field. The meaning was obvious, that is, to mock the Bucks Steelhorns players as stinky fishmongers. The Bucks Steelhorns naturally didn't get used to these aristocratic student bad habits, and they directly responded with international gestures. Especially Rusty, who simply stopped practicing and stood under the stands with his legs crossed, greeting with his two middle fingers in a rhythmic manner. Under the main stand on the east side, a group of beautiful cheerleaders in custom-made suits were swaying and dancing. At this time, with the announcement of the on-site DJ, the home team Wild Boar Jazz came on stage to adapt to the venue. The Tunbridge students on the scene were instantly boiling, with all kinds of cheers and whistles. The beautiful cheerleaders of Tunbridge instantly tore open their suit jackets in unison, revealing their tight white shirts with only 2 buttons fastened inside. This set of movements directly showed off Rusty on the sidelines. The atmosphere on the scene was also pushed to a peak. Every time the DJ introduced a player from the Wild Boar Jazz, a fireworks cannon would be set off on the sidelines. Setting off fireworks in broad daylight, such a luxurious way can only be done by aristocratic middle schools like Tunbridge. Facing the ostentatious opening ceremony of Tunbridge High School, the cheerleader and drummer of the Bucks Steelhorns team was naturally not to be outdone. The drummer held a jazz drum, banging it hard while shouting hoarsely, "Bucks Steelhorns! Hi! Invincible!" The Tunbridge students at the scene laughed harshly and contemptuously. However, the drummer didn't care at all, still banging the drums madly, shouting madly, and cheering for the Bucks Steelhorns team desperately. Bucks Steelhorns! Hi! Fight! Bang! Just as the drummer was shouting at the top of his voice, a football flew over from the home team's training half and hit the drummer directly. The drummer was caught off guard and was knocked to the ground by the kick. The Tunbridge students at the scene whistled excitedly and cheered wildly. In the home team's half, a tall and strong player with a big blonde hair was high-fiving other teammates with an arrogant face. Obviously, the ball that knocked down the drummer just now was kicked by this guy on purpose. Fuck him. Rusty roared and rushed forward. Then, all the players of the Bucks Steelhorns stopped training and rushed with Rusty. Damn it. Damn it. Are you going to fight now? You don't even negotiate first. You idiots. Take me with you. Duran couldn't control the adrenaline in his body and rushed to the front line. Although the drummer is not a player in the game, or even a substitute, bullying the drummer is bullying the entire Bucks Steelhorns. Maybe, in terms of playing football, the Bucks Steelhorns are not a strong team, but in terms of fighting, no one in the Bucks Steelhorns is a coward. What is the style of the Bucks Steelhorns? Unity. Unity. It's still fucking unity. This is the home court of Tunbridge Middle School, so what? The players on the opposite side are basically children of nobles, so what? If you dare to touch our people, even if you are the king of heaven, we will beat you. At this moment, all the members of the Bucks Steelhorns were villains. In one wave, they defeated the Tunbridge noble young masters on the field. These noble young masters were all dumbfounded. They were usually arrogant, and they never expected that the Buck's steel horns would respond directly barbarically. These noble young masters who didn't have time to fight fled, and while running, they were still spewing noble civilized words such as dead country bumpkin, stinky fishmonger, barbarian who only knows how to fight, and so on. The stadium was in chaos. Rusty was 1v3 on the left. Watergate, Bread, and Sissy were 3v1 on the right. Aurelio and Zimmerly were beaten back to back. The other Bucks Steel Horns players caught whoever they caught. Duran chased the instigator, the blonde with a big back hair, and beat him hard. The blonde with a big back hair is the number 10 of the Wild Boar Jazz. According to the school team's internal information, the number 10 of the Wild Boar Jazz is one of the two core players of their team. Forward, Quinlan Bowman. Just go for him. Playing football in the UK is really a very exciting thing. Duran used a right whip kick and a left kick. The opposite side of Quinlan was careless and did not dodge and was hit on the thigh and waist. Do. At this time, the referees rushed into the field to intervene. The security guards of Tunbridge Middle School were also stopping their students from rushing into the field. If it really turned into a mass fight, the Wild Boar Jazz would be directly sentenced to 0:3 because of the violence at home. The Wild Boar Jazz had already suffered a loss in the fight, and if it was sentenced to 0:3 again, it would be a big loss. With the intervention of the referees and staff, the fight between the players of both sides soon subsided. Fortunately, the game has not officially started yet, otherwise, both sides would definitely receive a few red and yellow cards. The Bucks Steel Horns took advantage of this wave and immediately retreated, leave after the fight. Yes. When it comes to fighting, you have to look at the Southern men. The noble young masters did not dare to chase, and could only angrily curse with all kinds of trash talk. This game has not even started, but it is destined not to be a peaceful game. Haha, it's fun. It's really fun. The opponent was beaten into an idiot face by us. Goo is really good. He rushed forward even more than us when there was something. Bread shouted to Guran, "Hey Goo, keep up. Come on." The ground was full of bubbles within 10 meters around Guran. Guran quickly glanced at it and was immediately secretly happy. It really deserves to be the second tier Wild Boar Jazz team. There are good stuff all over the ground. Under the feet of the blonde big back hair Quinlan, a blue skill bubble fell. Emergency stop acceleration +1. The skill of emergency stop acceleration is a very common skill. Even children and beginners can do it. There is no threshold. The technique is also very simple, that is, to stop suddenly and then suddenly accelerate to get rid of it. This skill is also one of the most commonly used skills of all players. It is very practical and is used very frequently. Once this skill is used well, it is a magical skill to get rid of defense. If this skill is used together with other skills, such as Guran's own step down turning skill, the effect of passing and breaking defense will be stronger. Guran himself can also stop and accelerate, but not systematically. When he played Wild Ball in his previous life, he often used it when he had no tricks. After picking up this skill, he can use it very naturally when needed. More importantly, only by picking up this skill can you have the opportunity to upgrade this skill to a higher level in the future. Guran immediately gathered his thoughts and collected Quinlan's bubble of emergency stop and acceleration skills through the air. The remaining white bubbles are bubbles of dynamic passing training, dynamic stop training, dynamic side cooperation training, private training level core muscle group strength training, etc. Basically, those with dynamic in front are professional, one-on-one training methods. Such training results are very good. Guran selected the 5 best training results and collected them through the air with his thoughts. After the collection was completed, Guran suddenly felt a slight change in his body. I feel good. This fight was not in vain. Guran was about to turn around and leave, but Quinlan, the guy with the slicked back hair who had been chased and kicked by him for half the court, suddenly said in a fierce voice, "Fuck you Asian guy. When the game starts, I will make you pay the price. I will make you and those stinking fishmongers run back to your mother crying." While saying this, Quinlan also made a discriminatory gesture of squinting at Guran. Duran turned around and smiled coldly, and directly responded with a trash talk +1, look at my face. I'm your long lost Chinese wild father. Wait until I teach you a lesson. Then I will go to comfort your mother. Chapter 93 begins. Duran exerts his strength. Eat the ace alive. 20-minute field adaptation training ended hastily in the atmosphere of gunpowder. Both sides returned to the player tunnel and stood, waiting to officially appear. Fighting was impossible, and both sides could not afford the cost of getting a card. But neither side was idle. Anyway, there was no video broadcast of this kind of game, so everyone started to talk trash. At this moment, Coach Carter, who was sitting on the visiting team's bench, frowned. He was not worried about the fact that his disciples beat the opponent. In fact, he did this a lot when he was young. What he really cares about now is the empty seat on the opposite main stand. The old rice he was waiting for has not come yet. Maybe, old rice will not come. Think about it in a positive way. Old rice may not want to come, but he was in a car accident and was hit and killed in the sea, or bitten to death by a shark. Coach Carter couldn't help but sigh secretly. 2:55. Under the leadership of the referee, the starting players of both sides officially appeared on the field. According to the convention of the game, they lined up to shake hands. When shaking hands, the gunpowder smell of both sides was about to explode. After the handshake ceremony, all the players' hands were sore, but no one showed it. It's about men's dignity. The captains of the two teams came to the referee and started to guess the coin. The captain of the Wild Boar Jazz is their number 7, who is also another core player of their team, midfielder, Belvid Irwin. This player has a cold and arrogant face, with a porcupine-like spiky hairstyle on his head. He is not too tall, only 1.81 meters, but his muscles are very strong. The referee tossed the coin up. Belvid guessed the front and back, and the Wild Boar Jazz got the priority to choose the side. In this way, the Bucks Steel Horns automatically got the priority to kick off. The players of both sides came to their respective half-court positions. The Tunbridge students at the scene waved flags and cheered crazily for their home team. Some students pinched their noses, pulled the corners of their eyes, and made discriminatory gestures towards the Bucks Steel Horns. Duran stood calmly at the left back position, ignoring the small movements in the stands. This is his first start since his rebirth. Even before the official start of the game, Duran couldn't help but get excited. Football is calling. A draw in this game will complete Coach Carter's qualifying plan. But I don't want a draw. I want to win. I want to beat these wild boar nobles. Today, I'm an assassin. Today, I'm a killer. I want to eat them alive. Duran clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes became more and more determined and cold. At this time, the DJ on the scene suddenly announced loudly, "Dear students, today our school director Lord Bentley and his distinguished friends have also come to the scene to watch the game and cheer for our Wild Boar Jazz. Let us welcome the school director Lord and his friends with the warmest applause." With the sound of a loud trumpet march, a bald school director and an old man wearing a fisherman's hat and casual clothes appeared in the VIP seats of the main stand, waving to the players on the field and the students in the stands. Coach Carter's eyes lit up immediately. The guy wearing a fisherman's hat, who else is it but Old Rice? Ha ha ha. Old Rice, you finally can't help but come to watch the game. Thank God. You didn't get hit by a car or killed by a fish. Coach Carter jumped up from the bench excitedly and yelled at Duran, who was preparing to eat people on the field. "No 3 Duran, you play well." "Yes, coach." The cold expression on Duran's face was instantly yelled away by Carter's shout. Why is this old troll so excited all of a sudden? Why did he point at me in front of the whole audience? It seems that I won't play well if he doesn't say that to me. This can't be a new type of poor. Come on. In the audience, Teacher Mariah put her hands together and shouted at Duran. Teacher Mariah was also the only away fan at the scene. Duran took a deep breath and focused his attention. Beep. At 3 o'clock, with the referee's whistle, the second round of the National High School Student Competition Group E, the Tunbridge Wild Boars Jazz home game against the Southampton Bucks Steel Horns, officially began. The first to kick off was the away Bucks Steel Horns. As soon as the Bucks Steel Horns kicked off, The whole stadium booed, and all kinds of discriminatory insults such as fishmongers and fuck them double digits were heard. The Bucks Steelhorns players were all holding back their anger, and they pushed the ball into the Wild Boars Jazz half at the start. The Bucks Steelhorns formation today was their usual 442 diamond formation. The position of the Watergate was still forward, playing as a 9.5. The Wild Boars Jazz on the opposite side sent out a 42-31 formation, playing with a single striker, 3 midfielders, and 2 defensive midfielders. The Wild Boars Jazz's formation has a very professional flavor. After all, Tunbridge High School is in the London area, and the London area has well-known teams such as Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham United, Fulham, Crystal Palace, and Queen's Park Rangers. The entire London area has a population of 8,013 professional football clubs with a sound system. This kind of football population ratio is really unimaginable in China. Moreover, according to the internal information of the school team, the head coach of the Wild Boar Knights had previously served as the youth training coach of West Ham United, and the captain of the Wild Boar Jazz, number 7, Bellwood, was also a semi-professional player who transferred from the youth echelon of West Ham United. It can be said that the Wild Boar Jazz has favorable conditions and strong strength. The core of the Wild Boar Knights team this time is also around the captain of number 7 Bellwood. At the beginning of the game, the two sides started a melee in the midfield. The Wild Boar Jazz's actions were very rough, and every time they fought, they could attract cheers from the Tunbridge students in the stands. And every time the Bucks Steelhorns touched the ball, they would be booed and ridiculed. For such away pressure, the Bucks Steelhorns have long been accustomed to it. The actions of the Bucks Steelhorns were also rough. At the beginning of the game, the two sides were fighting with a desperate attitude, and both sides consumed a lot of physical energy. In the 6th minute of the opening, the Bucks Steelhorns found an opportunity, and Huareluo kicked a diagonal pass from the right to the midfield. The intention of this kick was good, but the quality of the long pass was not very high. Minato quickly turned around and retreated to fight for the first point. However, the captain of the Wild Boar Jazz, number 7 Bellwood, had an excellent sense of position. He rushed over from the side and knocked Minato to the ground and got the long pass from Huareluo first. Minato quickly got up and raised his hand to appeal while counter-grabbing on the spot. The back waist Bread also hurried to help double team. However, Bellwood's dynamic ball control was very stable. Bellwood sprinted with the ball while looking up, and then a big foot hit Bread behind him. The strength of the semi-professional players of the Hammers youth training team is really not exaggerated. This kick behind the back, the intention is clear, the speed is extremely fast, and the landing point is still in the rib area within 30 meters of the front court. It is impossible to defend. This is the core tactic of the Wild Boar Jazz, attack and defense in the middle. The 3 central midfielders jointly assisted in the counter-attack in the midfield area, and then quickly switched offense and defense with Bellwood. When the opponent was not able to react in time, they directly passed the ball behind them, and penetrated the center of the opponent. Then the core forward Quinlan responded with speed, and completed the shot. Number 7 Bellwood is the key formation of the Wild Boar Jazz. Bellwood is involved in both key defense and key offense. He is a typical midfield engine player. This tactic is simple and crude, and any coach can see through it at a glance. But it is too difficult to crack this attack and defense in the middle. The formation of the Bucks Steelhorns is still in the rhythm of pressing, and the entire formation has no time to return to defense. The number 10 forward of the Wild Boar Jazz, Quinlan, has started at high speed, and inserted directly behind Bread. Bread turned slowly. The speed of chasing back is even slower. Seeing that Quinlan was about to rush into the front court 30 meters to catch up with the ball behind him, the Tunbridge students at the scene cheered wildly. At this moment, Duran ran from the rib area and sprinted to chase the ball. Duran's defensive position was very good. He and Quinlan were almost at the same distance. Quinlan didn't care about Duran sprinting back to defend, and even made an exaggerated high-legged running mocking gesture to Duran. In Quinlan's eyes, a black-haired Chinese man was nothing to worry about. Duran's adrenaline exploded. He accelerated and rushed over. The expression on Duran's face was extremely cold. "Son thief. Dare to get out of here in front of me." Duran took the lead to block his position, and pushed with his shoulder. Using the inertia of sprinting and the reasonable collision +2 technique, Duran directly knocked Kunlun, who was running with higher legs, to the ground. Kunlun rolled over on the natural grass for several rounds like a donkey rolling, with a confused face. What happened just now? The cheers at the scene also stopped abruptly. All the students of Tunbridge opened their mouths in astonishment. No one could believe that their race striker was eaten alive by a skinny Chinese kid from a football poor country. The Wild Boar Jazz team wasted such a good chance to counter-attack in the middle. The youth training coach of the Wild Boar Jazz team from the Hammers was scratching his head with both hands in annoyance, pulling his hair hard. Coach Carter couldn't help but glance at the VIP seats in the main stand. Old Rice sat steadily on the leather seat in the VIP seats, like a fisherman who didn't care about the small fish, with no expression on his face. It will be on sale tomorrow. Please support. Thank you. Chapter 94. How come this Chinese guy is so strong? After knocking down the arrogant Kunlun, Duran continued to sprint and catch up with the ball from behind by Bellwood. Duran easily controlled the ball and did not wait for Kunlun to catch up and steal it. He turned around and knocked the ball back to Brett, who retreated to the top of the penalty area to receive it. After Brett got the ball, he immediately made a long pass to the front court. The crisis of the Bucks Steel Horns was resolved in an instant, and they directly switched from defense to offense. The Wild Boar Jazz was forced to quickly return to defense. The rhythm of both teams was so fast that it made people's scalps numb. The previous minute, the number 7 ace Bellwood of the Wild Boar Jazz had just instigated a wave of defense to offense, and this minute, Duran knocked down Kunlun and instigated a wave of defense to offense for the Bucks Steel Horns. This rhythm already has the taste of Masters fight. After completing the clearance, Duran immediately ran back to his position, cooperated with his teammates, and maintained the formation to press forward. While returning to his position, Duran saw a white training result bubble generated at the position where Kunlun was knocked over. 10 hours of dynamic passing and receiving training. This result bubble is quite good. Those with the dynamic affix are generally the results of one-on-one professional training. However, Duran did not choose to pick it up. There are still 2 chances to pick up today. Try to stay behind for these 2 times to see if you can get a useful blue skill bubble. It would be great if you can get the skill bubble of the semi-professional player Bellwood. Duran couldn't help but lock his eyes on Bellwood. Coincidentally, Bellwood also looked back at Duran. The 2 people's eyes collided and then quickly separated. The situation on the green field changes rapidly. Under the relatively mature defense system of the Wild Boar Jazz, the Bucks Steel Horns' quick counter-attack was suppressed in the midfield area. After Schumann got the ball, he immediately double-teamed the 3 central midfielders of the Wild Boar Jazz. It was difficult for Schumann to break through and pass the ball to the 2 wings. The central midfielder's position is more forward than the regular midfielder, similar to the position of the classic attacking midfielder, but it is different. The classic attacking midfielder is a single player who rushes forward, while the central midfielder often keeps parallel with the front players. The central midfielder only has to take on the responsibility of passing and organizing the front field, and also has the responsibility of defending the front field. In simple terms, 3 central midfielders are equivalent to dividing the work of a classic striker into 3 parts and working together. This greatly improves the efficiency of the attack and defense conversion in the front field and can suppress the opponent with the advantage of numbers before the opponent launches an offensive. Especially for the defensive suppression of the middle road, the tactical effect is very obvious. The current basic style of play of the Bucks Steel Horns is to pass the ball to the Watergate, and the Watergate organizes the attack in the front field. The 3 forward and double back style of the Wild Boar Jazz is just the right way to restrain the Bucks Steel Horns 9.5 style of play, unless the Bucks Steel Horns 9.5 is extremely powerful and can 1v3. Otherwise, this tactical restraint cannot be reversed. Coach Carter stood on the sidelines and kept yelling, reminding the players on the field to speed up the speed of interlacing and running. The players of the Bucks Steel Horns desperately tried to tear open the defensive gap of the Wild Boar Jazz, but the Wild Boar Jazz had a lot of experience in defense. Compared to Coach Carter's yelling, the head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz on the other side seemed very elegant. The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz sat quietly in the coaching seat. his face full of contempt. He had seen through Coach Carter's simple and rough number 9.5 tactics. As long as his wild boar jazz implemented the tactics he arranged at the beginning, suppressed the midfield, and clamped the opposite side's Watergate, then the 3 points of this game would be easy to get. How can we not play 3:0 when we play against the bottom team? On the football field, the fight for the midfield area continued. After a chaotic melee pass, the number 7 ace of the Wild Boar Jazz, Bellwood, suddenly sprinted and used his strong body to carry Watergate. This was the second time that Watergate lost the ball in the midfield area, and it was also intercepted by Bellwood. Watergate was not bad in strength, but he couldn't withstand Bellwood's collision at all. Minato quickly got up and chased back, raising his hand to appeal to the referee. But the referee ignored him. In the English football atmosphere, as long as there is no extra movement of the hands and feet, the referee will generally ignore it. If there is only a physical collision. Minato tried to chase back, but Bellwood was so fast that Minato couldn't catch up at all. Bellwood is indeed a semi-professional player from the Hammers youth training team. After the end of this national high school championship, Bellwood should return to the Hammers West Ham United and enter the U19 youth team to become a formal professional player. From this perspective, Minato is really at a disadvantage in the confrontation with him. Guran estimated in his mind that according to the system's rating, Bellwood's strong attribute is at least 68 points, and his sprint attribute is at least 65 points. Facing such an opponent, you really can't just go hard. Even if you can barely hold on, it will consume your physical energy exponentially, which is not worth the loss. At this time, Bellwood dribbled the ball along the middle at high speed, and was about to enter the 40-meter area in the front court. Another core player of the Wild Boar Jazz, number 10 Quinlan, accelerated and penetrated directly to the right rib of the Bucks' steel horns, that is, the left side of the penalty area, and raised his hand to ask for the ball. Last time, he thought it was because he was careless and ran with his legs raised high that he was knocked over by a Chinese boy. This time, he wanted to prove to everyone that he, Quinlan Bowman, was unstoppable once he got serious. Number 7 Bellwood looked up and glanced at the ball during the rapid sprint, hesitated for a moment, and then made a diagonal pass. This ball was still played behind him, but this ball was not as clean as the previous one. The so-called behind the back ball, in simple terms, is not to pass the ball directly to one's own forward, but to pass it to the blind side area behind the opposing defender, and then the forward will run to grab the ball. Generally speaking, a behind the back pass in the rib area will make the central defender and the fullback very uncomfortable. Once the defender turns slowly, such as turning around like an aircraft carrier, the defense will completely collapse. From Bellwood's perspective, this behind the back pass is different from the first behind the back pass. The position of the opposite number 3 Guran is just in the rib area, and he has already blocked the route of Quinlan's penetration. In this case, the pass channel is very small, and the landing point is also easy to be counter-robbed. However, since his teammate Quinlan has taken the initiative to reach out for the ball, Bellwood can't refuse to give it. Bellwood still has faith in Quinlan's speed and dynamic passing and receiving skills. Of course, the most important thing is that Bellwood doesn't think a Chinese can defend against his behind the back pass. As soon as Bellwood's ball was passed, Guran immediately accelerated and rushed to the passing channel. Once again met Quinlan on a narrow road. Quinlan looked arrogant. He did not speed up, and even began to slow down, ready to stabilize his center of gravity and fight against Guran with all his strength. Receive the ball? No, it was only a matter of time before he scored a goal and won the game. He wanted to take revenge first. He wanted to knock down this black-haired Chinese kid. He wanted to let everyone present see that he, Quinlan, was, bang. Guran didn't have any thoughts in his mind. He sprinted over with a few steps, exerted force on his shoulders, and directly hit Quinlan's half-turned shoulder. What's there to think about? Just do it. Physical fitness, sprint inertia, strong power foundation, reasonable collision +2, and basketball IQ, all perfectly integrated and displayed at this moment. The arrogant expression on Quinlan's face froze instantly. At this moment, he felt as if he was hit by a car. Quinlan gritted his teeth and wanted to push back, but Guran didn't give him the chance at all. The moment Guran collided with Kunlun, his body continued to accelerate and sprint, blocking Kunlun's line to receive the ball one step ahead, and directly pushed Kunlun to the ground. The moment he fell to the ground, Kunlun subconsciously reached out to pull Guran's body. Snap. Guran shook his hand and opened Kunlun's arm. At this moment, Guran was as fierce as a wild beast. Kunlun's body completely lost balance, and he rolled on the ground in a mess. He rolled one more time than the last time. Kunlun was completely dumbfounded. What happened just now? How did I fall? I was beaten again. Why do I say again? How can this Chinese boy be so strong? This is an illusion. Kunlun didn't even get up, just knelt on the grass stupidly, and watched Guran easily control the ball. The second wave of the Wild Boar Jazz's quick counter-attack was gone again. The students of Tunbridge Middle School at the scene were all stunned. No one dared to believe that their two trump cards joint ball cooperation was broken by a black-haired Chinese boy. Didn't the previous intelligence say that the Bucks Steel Horns was a 4th tier free-for-all team? Didn't it say that the core left back Arlin of the Bucks Steel Horns was poached? Isn't it said that the new left back of the Bucks Steel Horns is a weakling? If this number 3 Guran is a weakling, then what are you all here? Not even a chicken feather. Yes. 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 Coach Carter on the sidelines excitedly punched the air 3 times. This wave of clearance, Guran's performance was really shocking. From predicting the position, sprinting back to defense, physical confrontation, every detail reflects Guran's superb basketball IQ. Especially the raw domineering when facing the ace. It is really exciting. The Bucks Steel Horns players on the bench rushed to the sidelines and cheered for Guran with their fists. Teacher Mariah, who was sitting in the audience, also covered her chest with both hands, her eyes full of little stars. This is the first time she has seen Guran play football. Guran's sprint on the green field is much more exciting than the sprint in the physical examination room. Of course, Teacher Mariah still prefers to watch Guran sprint without a shirt in the physical examination room. Old Rice, who was sitting in the VIP seats of the main stand, was still sitting on the fishing seat, with no expression on his face. The game was still going on. After Guran controlled the ball, he immediately passed it to Brett, who came back to assist. This was also to implement the tactical requirements of head coach Carter. Before Coach Carter gave the signal, the entire Bucks Steel Horns team used defense to consume the opponent's physical energy and pull the opponent's formation as the main strategy. Brett stabilized the rhythm and passed the ball to Huareluo on the right. Huareluo then took the ball and advanced along his own right side. The Wild Boar Jazz immediately retreated to the right side of the Bucks Steel Horns. After clearing the siege, Guran quickly returned to his position. The first half had not been played for 15 minutes, but the physical energy consumed by running, assisting, sprinting, and confrontation was equivalent to the intensity of the last 25 minutes of playing with the Corsairs. Physical fitness is really too important. Fortunately, Guran has improved 3 physical fitness attribute points in one breath since the game with the Corsairs, and has also picked up a lot of physical fitness training results. Otherwise, it would be really hard to play the whole game while maintaining the basic condition. Guran glanced at Kunlun while returning to his position. A blue skill bubble was generated under Kunlun's feet. Oh. Chapter 95. The whole audience was shocked and suffocated. Guran feeds the opposing ace grass. Guran quickly gathered his mind to check, and the content of the blue bubble was immediately displayed. Small angle shot +1. This is a shooting skill. This skill is naturally a very good skill for a striker. But Guran did not use his mind to collect it, but ignored it directly and continued to run back quickly to help his teammates maintain the formation pressure. Although the shooting skill is good, Guran can't use it at present. First of all, Guran's current position is a fullback. Carter's requirements for him are that the first focus is to defend the center and the left side, and the second focus is to launch threatening passes as much as possible while defending the center and the left side. In other words, Guran has no right to fire. The so-called right to fire, to put it bluntly, is the right to kick and shoot. If you play in a wild team, it is normal for whoever has the ball at his feet to shoot. But when playing in a professional team, everything must be played according to the coach's arrangement and the team's tactical system. If you don't play according to the team system, the coach will not give you a chance to play. Unless you are a big star, the whole club will revolve around you. Although the Bucks Steelhorns are not a professional team, they were able to reach the top 3 in the British National High School Championship. The strength of the Bucks Steelhorns is by no means bad. The Bucks Steelhorns also strictly follow the professional team style. The lack of firing rights is the first reason why Guran gave up the blue bubble. Secondly, even if Guran had the right to fire, Guran would not put the shooting skill in the first place. For a striker, shooting skills are indeed very important. A striker who is not good at shooting is a waste. However, shooting is not the most important skill for a striker. To see whether a striker is a good striker, it is not to see how wonderful and beautiful his shooting skills are, or how difficult the action is, but to see whether he can hold the ball first. Looking around the world, every top striker in the world has his own characteristics, but every top striker has one thing in common: their passing and receiving skills are very strong. Shooting is only the last shot, and the action before shooting must be to stop the ball. The one-touch shot like Totti seems to have no stop, but in fact, he perfectly combines the two different technical actions of stop and shoot. To perfectly combine the two skills into one, both skills must be above 90. A good striker must have the technical conditions of running and passing inside and outside the penalty area, standing and passing skills, and confrontation passing skills. For a striker who stops the ball 10 meters away, it is meaningless, even if he maximums out the heavy artillery long-range shooting skills. This is all Guran's experience as a striker in the world team in his previous life. Therefore, Guran directly ignored the shooting skill bubble of small angle shot +1. What Guran wanted was the skill bubble of the semi-professional player number 7, Bellwood. The game continues. The Bucks Steelhorns team made a fuss on their own right side, trying to break through the right side with the cooperation of Huarelio and the blind man. However, the defense of the Wild Boar Jazz is still as strong as an iron barrel. The 3 forwards of the Wild Boar Jazz team were positioned diagonally, and the 2 back midfielders also helped in defense. The Bucks Steelhorns team looked for opportunities on the right for a long time, but in the end they could only kick the ball into the penalty area, leaving the glider and the sissy to fight for opportunities with their own abilities. Unfortunately, the Wild Boar Jazz's penalty area defense was thicker, and the ball was pushed out by the tall and strong central defender as soon as it entered the penalty area. The two sides continued to confront each other near the midline. The actions of both sides were also very rough, and players fell to the ground repeatedly. In the first 25 minutes of the game, both sides had wonderful moments. According to technical statistics, the possession rate of the two teams was basically 50-50. The number of mistakes was similar, and the number of shots and shots on target was also similar. Of course, the score between the two sides was still 0:0. Such a score is beneficial to the Bucks Steelhorns, but it is very embarrassing for the Wild Boar Jazz who aim to kick double digits. The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz could no longer sit still. He stood on the sidelines and gave loud on-the-spot instructions, asking the players to cheer up and strengthen the attack of the ball behind them. Coach Carter was on the sidelines and loudly reminded the players to intersperse and run in time to break through the gaps. The confrontation between the two sides became more and more intense. In the 31st minute of the game, the physical fitness of both sides almost reached the first fatigue point. Physical fitness determines the state. When entering the fatigue point, the state of the players tends to fluctuate downward. This is also the time when attention is not focused and fatal mistakes are prone to occur. Coach Carter, who was standing on the sidelines, saw that the Wild Boar Jazz's formation began to show signs of looseness and immediately shouted to Brett, who was holding the ball on the court, "Give it to him. Give it over there." This was a signal to change the play on the spot. Although Coach Carter did not say who to give it to or which side to give it to, Brett immediately understood. Without waiting for Brett to pass the ball, Schumann, who was in the middle front court, suddenly started in a high-profile manner, desperately rushing straight to the middle without the ball, pretending to receive a long pass. The 3 forwards of the Wild Boar Jazz team immediately retreated to defend, but at this moment, Brett directly passed the ball to the front of the left side. The Wild Boar Jazz team was caught off guard. Guran had already started in advance, sprinting at an almost crazy speed to receive this side ball. In less than 3 seconds, the left back Guran of the Bucks Steelhorns team directly broke through the center line of the court and advanced with the ball. After 31 minutes of confrontation, Guran's physical strength was still abundant and his sprinting speed was still explosive. This time, Guran did not choose to cut in from the backcourt to the middle, but sprinted directly along the left side all the way to the baseline. The other Bucks Steelhorns players also followed. All teammates followed Guran's sprint frequency and pressed forward frantically to support. The Bucks Steelhorns team instantly transformed from the pseudo-tactics of number 9.5 to flying on both wings. The 3-back tactics of the Wild Boar Jazz team were a little overwhelmed. The Wild Boar Jazz team's defensive focus was on the middle, and Guran's advancement speed was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he was about to reach the dangerous area 30 meters in the front field. At the critical moment, the Wild Boar Jazz team's number 7 core ace captain Belvad sprinted towards Guran from the middle rib area to intercept. Belvad's sprint speed was comparable to Guran, and his body was 2 stronger than Guran. From his running momentum, it can be seen that he is indeed an elite cultivated by the youth echelon of the Hammers West Ham United. Belvad rushed to a distance of 5 meters from Guran almost instantly. Belvad did not choose to use his body to fight hard, but chose a faster and more direct way, sliding tackle. Belvad ran and slid towards Guran fiercely. This shovel was very powerful and fast, and almost blocked Guran's route to dribble. The reverse foot fullback dribbled the ball on the wing, which itself had a spatial disadvantage. Therefore, Belvad's sliding tackle was a very experienced and smart way of dealing with personal grudges. Once he was hit, Guran would most likely be injured. At this moment, Coach Carter on the sidelines opened his mouth wide, the sound of shouting stuck in his throat, and he was so nervous that he forgot to breathe. And teacher Mariah, who was watching the game in the audience, was so nervous. Guran suddenly stopped and stepped on the ball during a high-speed sprint. The emergency stop acceleration +1 skill picked up before the game was learned and used immediately. Coupled with Guran's own experience and ball IQ, Guran's timing of emergency stop was just right. Guran's center of gravity was set back, and the grip of the light gold Messi specific shoes on his feet was completely released at this moment, and a large piece of natural grass was shoveled up. At the same time, Belvad's sliding tackle just passed by a half body in front of Guran. Belvad's sliding tackle used enough force, and his own natural grass was plowed with a clear mark. Snap. The piece of grass that Guran shoveled when he stopped suddenly happened to hit Belvad's face. Belvad was opening his mouth in surprise at Guran's sudden stop. Now, half of the grass was in Belvad's mouth. Belvad shoveled it out gorgeously and slid directly out of the sideline with a mouthful of natural soil and grass. The whole audience was shocked to the point of suffocation. This is the absolute ace of the Wild Boar Jazz, a semi-professional player from the Hammer Gang's youth team. In the first head-on confrontation with Guran, he ate a lot of grass. A full blue bubble condensed and formed under Belvad's body. Got it. But Guran had no time to take care of it now. Guran accelerated with the ball and continued to run wildly to the 30-meter area in the front field. Anyway, the bubble has already formed within a range of 10 meters, and as long as he uses his mind to check and pick it up within 3 minutes, it will be in time. At this time, the Wild Boar Jazz's defense line has reacted and quickly gathered to the left side to block it. 2 central midfielders of the Wild Boar Jazz team came up directly and closed the door to defend Guran. Guran sprinted with the ball while quickly reading the situation. The 2 players were like 2 doors, shrinking the distance between them while running towards each other. In the middle area, the other 2 defensive midfielders also defended in place to prevent Guran from cutting in horizontally. This means that in addition to Belvad, who had already climbed up behind him, there are currently at least 4 defensive players pressing and defending Guran. This is a semi-arc encirclement, and the defense is compressed very quickly. There are new changes every second, and the passing channel and breakthrough opportunities are fleeting. At this time, Zimmerly has already reached the bottom line area. However, Zimmerly did not run out of the right passing channel, and Schumann was cleverly counter-infiltrating and running to the right side of the penalty area. There were almost no players guarding him. At this time, Passing the ball to Schumann is definitely the best choice. But the problem is that to pass a long distance ball, you must first break the closed door defense of the two forwards in front of you, so as to avoid Belvid's second counter grab behind you, and leave yourself the opportunity to swing your legs. In just this moment, Duran quickly decided on a plan in his mind. It can be simply summed up in 2 words: do it hard. As long as the sprint speed is good enough, it will be no problem to do it hard. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96: A Goal. A breakthrough from the wing. At this moment, Duran did not cut inwards to the middle, nor did he pull towards the sideline. Doing so would only put him in a passive space, where he could not pass the ball. Duran rushed directly towards the two forwards who were closing the door. Duran's adrenaline roared in his veins, and his sprinting speed reached a whole new height. The two forwards responsible for closing the door were shocked at the same time. None of them expected that Duran would choose to rush directly between the two of them. Moreover, Duran's speed was too fast. After a long distance raid of more than 50 meters from the backcourt to the front court, Duran's sprinting speed was still so fast. The two forwards rushed together in panic, trying to use their bodies to block Duran's strong penetration. However, they were a beat late after all. Duran saw the opportunity, dribbled the ball directly with a big foot, and then sprinted through the gap of less than half a meter between the two people. How could the two forwards be willing to let Duran rush past like this? One of the forwards reached out to pull Duran, and the other forward stretched out his foot to kick Duran's heel. None of them touched Duran. Duran was like a super sports car, whizzing past them. And the next second, the two forwards collided heavily and fell on the grass. The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz team, who was directing on the sidelines, was dumbfounded. Where did this stinky fishmonger find this Chinese kid? The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz team pulled his hair hard with both hands and couldn't shout a word for a long time. At this moment, Duran, who broke through the closed defense, had a good space and time. Sissy and Glider actively interspersed and ran in front of the penalty area to contain the defense in the Wild Boar Jazz penalty area. The real number 9.5 Watergate had already skillfully penetrated to the back point in the opposite direction and was in a state of no one guarding. Duran controlled the ball under his feet, adjusted his posture with small steps, concentrated his mind, and swung his right leg hard. Golden right foot, accurate long pass. Here it comes. The football drew a beautiful blade-like arc from Duran's feet, passing through the densely defended left half of the penalty area of the Wild Boar Jazz team at high speed, and landed accurately in the small penalty area on the right, less than 10 meters away from the center of the goal. This kick was amazing. Everyone at the scene held their breath unconsciously. This ball was so comfortable, the passing field of view was so wide, and every detail was controlled very accurately. Sprinting, interweaving, breaking the defense, opening up the space for passing, and then accurately kicking across the defense line. This ball IQ is definitely a talent. Minato, who was penetrating to the back point, almost didn't need to think. He just needed to subconsciously take a step forward and swing his leg. The goalkeeper of the Wild Boar Jazz team rushed over to block Minato's shooting line. Minato used his toes to tap and easily shook off the goalkeeper. The goal was empty. Minato pushed the ball with his arch of his foot. The football rolled into the goal easily. The ball went in. The referee blew the whistle and pointed to the center circle with a firm gesture, indicating that the goal was valid. The scoreboard on the scene was rewritten. Wild Boar Jazz 0:1 Bucks Steelhorns. This was the first goal of the Bucks Steelhorns in this game, and it was also Duran's first assist. The visiting team's bench was instantly boiling. The students of Tunbridge Middle School in the stands held their heads and widened their eyes, their faces full of disbelief. In their own home court, they were actually kicked into a goal by the weak Bucks Steelhorns team. What the hell is this script? Bucks Steelhorns. Hi. Invincible. The drummer excitedly beat the jazz drum, and his throat was broken. The Bucks Steelhorns players on the bench also jumped up excitedly, clenched their fists and roared. Head coach Carter was even more excited like a child, jumping up and down outside the court. Fuck. This ball is so awesome. Ha ha ha. That's right. Just kick it like this. My dear Guran. Just kick it like this. This wave of assists from the wing can only be described as awesome. Carter expected Guran to surprise him, but what Carter himself didn't expect was that Guran's performance was even better than in the match with the Corsair. The Wild Boar Jazz, known for its solid defense, was as fragile as a layer of film in front of Guran's sharp sprint breakthrough. The right side of the Wild Boar Jazz was broken by Guran in just this wave. Teacher Mariah, who was sitting in the audience, trembled with excitement. Guran, it turns out that you are so strong. And old Rice, who was sitting in the VIP seat, was still sitting motionless. However, from this moment on, his eyes have been focused on Guran. Guran stood on the green field, feeling the uncontrollable gushing of dopamine and adrenaline in his body. Cool. It's so fucking cool. A one-stop breakthrough from the wing. The first assist data in a formal non-professional game. Guran squeezed his hands tightly, which were trembling slightly due to the explosion of dopamine and adrenaline. I want more fun. Ha ha ha. Go. 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 After Minato scored, he immediately avoided all the players who rushed to celebrate with him, and rushed to Guran, who assisted him with open arms. Guran rushed directly to the sideline area on the left half of the field. There was still the blue bubble that Bellwood had dropped. Although bubbles can be collected through the air with the mind, if the distance is too far, the content displayed in the bubble cannot be seen by the naked eye. So, at this moment, a strange scene appeared on the green field. The players of the Bucks Steelhorns chased Minato. Minato chased Guran, and Guran ran towards the blue bubble that no one else could see. Or the Wild Boar Jazz. Is this stinky fishmonger deliberately humiliating us? Guran rushed to the sideline, concentrated his mind, and immediately saw the content of the blue bubble. High-speed dribbling +1. Damn. This skill is good. High-speed dribbling is simply running with the ball while sprinting. The literal meaning is simple, but it is very difficult to master it, and it requires a lot of technical training. The representatives of high-speed dribbling are Bale, Kaka, and Robin. They are all very strong in sprinting ability, and their dribbling ability, especially the dribbling ability at high speed, is even stronger. Sprinting and dribbling are two different attributes. Strong sprinting attributes do not mean that you are good at dribbling. Strong dribbling attributes do not mean that you are good at sprinting. High-speed dribbling tests both sprinting ability and dribbling ability. Moreover, in actual combat, high-speed dribbling often encounters positional defense interception, so the sprint rhythm and the distance between the football and the body should be adjusted according to the situation on the scene. High-speed dribbling must first push the ball away from the body, because too close will limit the stride and affect the sprint speed, but if it is too far, it will lose control of the ball and give the opponent a chance. Whether it is 3 steps and 1 touch, 5 steps and 1 touch, or 7 steps and 1 touch, it must be based on the actual situation on the scene. How to control the rhythm according to the actual situation is the skill of high-speed dribbling. The skill of high-speed dribbling may not seem so powerful in the early stage, but when the level is raised, it will definitely be the most sharp penetration skill. Must be taken. Guran moved his mind and directly collected high-speed dribbling +1. As soon as he collected the skill, Minato rushed over from behind Guran and pressed Guran down directly. Before Guran could react, all the other players of the Bucks Steelhorns rushed over frantically and celebrated. At this moment, Guran was covered with big men. The students of Tunbridge Middle School in the stands booed and cursed. Coach Carter yelled in pain on the sidelines, ordering the players who were playing in the game to disperse quickly and not to crush Guran. Guran was panting and freed from the big men. Damn, these idiots. Guran sat on the grass and breathed in the fresh air. The Bucks Steelhorns, who were leading by 1 goal, stood in position happily. Minato was even arrogantly making faces and mocking at the other side. The mentality of the Wild Boar Jazz players was about to explode. To be fair, in the first 31 minutes of this game, the Wild Boar Jazz played very well overall. Although there were several mistakes and several threatening opportunities were missed, the overall performance was still remarkable. However, the Bucks Steelhorns on the opposite side rushed to the side and broke their stable formation. as a second tier team and a team qualified to compete for the top 4. The Wild Boar Jazz was scored first in their home court. This is really a great shame. Beep. The game continues. The Wild Boar Jazz kicked off from the center circle. The Wild Boar Jazz began to strengthen the running and interweaving in the front court, and the 3 forwards looked for gaps in the middle. The Bucks Steel Horns immediately retreated to defend, and the movements of both sides became more and more rough, and the physical energy consumption of both sides became greater and greater. The Jazz Wild Boars launched one attack after another. Their race captain, number 7 Belford, also used high-speed dribbling to tear open the defense of the Bucks Steel Horns many times. The Bucks Steel Horns were under great offensive pressure. In the 43rd minute of the first half, number 7 Belford dribbled the ball to the right of the Bucks Steel Horns. Number 10 Quinlan ran to the penalty area. Huarelio stepped forward to defend. Brendan Watergate shrank to assist. Belford used his strong body advantage to eat Huarelio and passed the ball directly in front of the goal. Under the attack of 2 central defenders, Quinlan forced his foot to shoot. The goalkeeper of the Bucks Steel Horns, Tyrannosaurus Rex, rushed out and blocked it with his long legs. The football hit the legs of the Tyrannosaurus Rex and bounced out of the baseline. The Tyrannosaurus Rex immediately jumped up excitedly and roared, cheering himself up. The Jazz Wild Boars won a corner kick. The Bucks Steel Horns implemented one-on-one marking in the penalty area. According to the arrangement before the game, Duran's main target of defense was the central midfielder of the Wild Boar Jazz wearing the number 8 jersey. The central midfielder desperately ran to the back of the small penalty area to create space, but Duran held on tightly and defended closely, not giving him any chance to create space. The two of them competed in physical strength in the small penalty area. They could not move too much, otherwise they would be called for a foul, and they could not let the other side stabilize their center of gravity. Belwood of the Wild Boar Jazz made a long pass and kicked the ball to the midpoint. Chapter 97 Then I will win in front of you. All the tall players on the field were vying for the first point of the ball. Rusty's position was not very good, but he still jumped up and got the ball first. However, the header was not powerful enough and fell to the front of the small penalty area. Number 10 Quinlan seized the opportunity and shot at a small angle. Goalkeeper Tyrant stretched out his hand and crossed his body to save the ball. The ball hit the inside of the left goalpost, bounced a zigzag line, and went into the net. The ball went in. The score was rewritten. Wild Boar Jazz 1, 1 Bucks Steel Horns. When the first half was about to end, the Wild Boar Jazz finally tied the score with a corner kick. After trying many crazy attacks, the students of Tunbridge Middle School in the stands were all crazy. Fireworks were set off on the sidelines. The beautiful cheerleaders once again took off their tight white shirts, revealing fashionable sports bras. The players of the Wild Boar Jazz also surrounded Quinlan and Belwood to celebrate. There was also a player who ran up to Rusty on purpose and taunted him with the exaggerated bowing style that was unique to aristocrats. "Thank you, you big idiot who sells fish. This goal should be counted as your assist. Ha ha ha. Fuck." Rusty was about to explode, and he didn't even care about the scene of the beautiful cheerleaders' clothes bursting. Rusty's eyes were blazing, and his fists were clenched so hard that he wanted to hit someone. Captain Bread rushed over and grabbed Rusty's hand. "Calm down, Rusty. Don't be fooled. You will definitely get a card if you take action at this time." Rusty is the main central defender. Once Rusty is sent off, the Bucks Steel Horns will be in a very passive position. Rusty himself knew it, but he couldn't swallow the humiliation in front of him. At this moment, Duran took a step forward, blocked the rust strips, and used his body to push against the player who was looking for trouble. "You guys still have to rely on our players to assist you to score goals. How dare you be so arrogant? You are a second tier team, a strong contender for the top 4 in the country. We tied the game 1:1 in the first half. You still have the nerve to celebrate? Come on, kneel down and kowtow to me again. I will consider it in the second half and give you another assist. You. The player was flushed, and his trash talk was no match for Duran. His mentality was about to explode. Duran's words were not dirty, but every word hit him. Yes, a second tier team actually tied the game 1:1 in the first half, and it was still a gift from the opponent's central defender. It was really embarrassing. A blue skill bubble fell under the feet of the player. Guran glanced at it casually. It was garbage with non-football skills, so he ignored it. Guran yelled at the provocative player, "Why don't you get out of here? Are you waiting for me to scold you for free?" The other players of the Bucks Steel Horns also followed suit. It was the Wild Boar Jazz's time to celebrate the goal, but they asked for humiliation and were slapped in the face by Guran. "Just wait and see." The provocative Wild Boar Jazz player tucked his tail between his legs and stood. After using trash talk to force the provocative player to retreat, Guran turned around and said to Rusty, "Your clearance just now was fine." Although the clearance just now was Rusty's fault, there was really nothing wrong with Rusty's work. It was just a little bit of bad luck. This is football. All kinds of unexpected things will happen on the field. The key is how to adjust your mentality when the accident has already happened. If you lose your mentality just because you conceded a goal and were tied, then you are really not suitable for competitive sports. As a 12-year leader in basketball IQ, Guran's mentality is more mature than all the players on the field. Rusty's eyes were moist, and he clenched his fists and pounded his chest. "Brother Gu." Guran rolled his eyes at Rusty. "Idiot. Don't blame me for not reminding you. The cheerleaders of the Wild Boar Jazz team have their clothes blown." Where? Rusty looked around hurriedly. Wow. Rusty's mentality, which was affected by the provocateur, also completely returned to normal. The game continued. There were 4 minutes of injury time in the first half. The confrontation and competition between the two sides on the field did not decrease due to the time limit, but became more intense. Especially Rusty. His whole fighting spirit was ignited. After several quick offense and defense conversions, the referee looked at the watch and blew the whistle to end the first half. The first half of the game was fixed at 1:1, and the two sides were tied. The players of the Wild Boar Jazz team were depressed. This was definitely not the record they wanted. In their plan, they should be ahead of the opponent's Stinky Fish team by more than 3 goals in the first half. The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz team pulled his hair frantically while walking towards the home team's locker room. The players of the Wild Boar Jazz team also left the field dejectedly, not having the face to interact with the students of Tunbridge Middle School. Although the Bucks Steel Horns team was tied at the end of the first half, the score of 1:1 was in line with their established plan. More importantly, the Bucks Steel Horns team did not play at all in the first half. The Bucks Steel Horns team proved that they were by no means a weak team. The Bucks Steel Horns team left the field with their heads held high amid the boos of the students of Tunbridge Middle School. Drink bottles flew towards the players of the Bucks Steel Horns team, and at least 5 or 6 of them were aimed at Guran. This group of self-righteous noble children could not accept the reality that they were defeated by a Chinese man with their 2 trump cards. Unacceptable? It doesn't matter. I don't care. Sooner or later you will have to accept it. Sooner or later you will have to kneel down and call me daddy. Facing the thrown beverage bottles, Guran tilted his head twice in a row and dodged 4 of them. When the last beverage bottle came, Guran caught it with his hand. Guran stood at the entrance of the players' tunnel, turned around and unscrewed the bottle cap in front of all the students of Tunbridge Middle School. Suddenly, the whole audience booed. Just when everyone thought Guran was going to drink a sip from the beverage bottle, Guran poured the water in the beverage bottle on the soles of a pair of messy exclusive sneakers on his feet. That's right, I just want you to know that you nobles are only worthy of washing my soles. After washing the soles of his shoes, Guran directly threw the remaining half bottle of beverage on the Wild Boar Jazz team emblem at the entrance of the players' tunnel. All the students of Tunbridge Middle School broke through the defense. Guran turned arrogantly and walked into the players' tunnel. Teacher Mariah in the audience looked at Guran's super domineering and strong back and couldn't help trembling. Teacher Mariah hurriedly chased into the players' tunnel. She almost forgot that the purpose of her visit this time was to help Guran with physical therapy during the halftime break to relieve halftime fatigue. Guran entered the visiting team's locker room, and the players came over to high-five Guran. This time, Guran's performance completely conquered the whole team. Head coach Carter walked over and handed Guran a bottle of electrolyte supplement solution. "Gu, you played very well. How is your physical fitness?" Guran took the electrolyte supplement solution and replied, "No problem, coach." Carter nodded with satisfaction and said, "Very good. For the tactics in the second half, I will let other players create more opportunities for you on the wing. As long as you have the opportunity, you can boldly move forward. Don't care about the back. I will ask Zimui to retreat depending on the situation." "Yes, coach." Guran first drank 2 small sips, then took a big sip, and finally spit it out. During the halftime break, players can replenish water, but not a lot of water, otherwise it will put pressure on the stomach and intestines, and it will be very uncomfortable to run in the second half. Seeing Mariah running in breathlessly, Coach Carter immediately said, "Boo, follow Mariah to the physical therapy room inside for physical therapy. I need you to continue sprinting in the second half." "Yes, coach." Guran immediately followed teacher Mariah into the physical therapy room. "Are you exhausted? Lie down quickly." Teacher Mariah half crouched with her back to Guran and searched for essential oils in the small suitcase. Guran lay down skillfully. Looking at teacher Mariah's skirt that was about to burst, Guran couldn't help but think of a famous psychological conclusion in his mind. When a woman inadvertently sticks her butt out to you, in her subconscious mind she likes you. When teacher Mariah turned around, she saw Guran's dazed look, and then she chuckled. "Does it look good?" "No, no," Guran said quickly. "No, I mean it looks good, but no, I mean, I didn't see anything." Teacher Mariah giggled and shook her body. Okay, I didn't expect that you are so cute and adorable at ordinary times, but so fierce on the court, especially when you left the court. Facing the response of the whole audience, you are too domineering and too manly. I can't help it. Okay, let's hurry up and start. Teacher Mariah gave Guran's leg physical therapy. I have to say that teacher Mariah's technique is really accurate. After a few times of medical essential oil pressing, Guran felt the leg muscles warm, and the fatigue of acid accumulation was also rapidly subsiding. Halftime physical therapy is equivalent to returning a mouthful of blood. Guran looked at teacher Mariah, who was pressing with all her strength, with gratitude. Guran, have psychologists ever said that if a woman is facing you, what does that mean? Or close your eyes and think about something serious. After all, the game is not over yet, so stay focused. Guran took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and tried to relax himself. The second half of the match will definitely be even crazier. So physical fitness is still the main problem now. Another point is that the wild boar Jazz will probably pay special attention to him in the second half. If he wants to break the defense, he may need a higher sprint speed. There are still 2 talent points that have not been used. According to the current situation, 1 for physical fitness and 1 for sprinting should be the best choice. Guran carefully and repeatedly considered it several times and then began to add points. In this way, the physical fitness attribute increased from 62 points to 63 points, and the sprint attribute is directly displayed as 67 points. This means that Guran's original sprint attribute was 66 points. It's not bad in itself. After increasing by 1 point, it's even stronger. His Guran felt that his legs were getting hotter and hotter, almost burning. After 10 minutes, teacher Mariah tried her best. At the end of the physical therapy, teacher Mariah's hands were almost paralyzed, and she couldn't even lift them up. Guran felt that the fatigue in his legs had almost completely disappeared, and his thigh muscles were filled with indescribable energy. "Thank you, teacher Mariah." "Don't thank me," teacher Mariah said, panting with sweat all over her face. Looking up at Guran, "I want to see you win." Guran's heart was instantly filled with infinite ambition. "Then I'll win for you to see." "Hey, Gu. It's time to go on the court." Chapter 98 overturned the whole court. Passed to myself 3 seconds later. Black-haired Bale. Hearing the shouts outside, Guran immediately walked out of the physical therapy room in high spirits. "Gu." Coach Carter held a pile of data sheets. "Your technical statistics for the first half are out. Do you want to see it?" Guran hurriedly said, "Of course I want to see it." The last game against the Corsair, the post-match score for the first half was 7.1. This time as a starter, Guran felt that he played better in the first half than the Corsair, running more, sprinting longer, and more confrontation scenes, so this halftime score should theoretically be higher than 7.1 points. Duran not only wanted to know his score in the first half, but also wanted to know the score of the ace Captain Bellwood on the opposite side. Coach Carter looked down at the data and then put it away. Well, there is no time. Let's not talk about it for now. Let's see it after you play the whole game. In short, you still have to work hard. There is a lot of difference. Duran, what the hell? A lot of difference? Give me a number for how much difference. I was waiting. Coach, you are not deliberately pooing me again, are you? Okay, then I'll cooperate with you. Duran immediately said with a sense of truth. Yes, coach. I will definitely play hard in the second half. Coach Carter showed a barely perceptible smile on his lips. Very good. In the second half, I will give you full freedom. You can go forward if you want. Cut inside if you want. My only requirement is to show your strongest side. Yes, coach. Okay. Coach Carter clapped his hands. Come and gather together. All the main players immediately gathered together, formed a circle, and put their hands on each other's shoulders. Bucks steel horns. Invincible. Kill them. Oh. Go on the court. The whole team was full of blood and walked out of the visiting team's locker room together. After the 15-minute halftime break, the players of both sides went on the court again, exchanged venues, and changed sides to fight again. When the Bucks Steel Horns team came on the court, the Tunbridge students at the scene were still booing wildly, pinching their noses, and pulling their eyes. In addition, Duran felt that the number 7 ace Bellwood on the opposite side was staring at him fiercely, as if he wanted to eat him alive. Not only Bellwood, almost the entire Wild Boar Jazz team stared at Duran like this. Isn't this just that I assisted a goal in the first half? It shouldn't be that serious, right? What on earth stimulated them? Forget it. Just keep doing it. If you don't accept it. Beep. The game started, and the Wild Boar Jazz team took the lead in the second half. At the beginning, the Wild Boar Jazz team strengthened the rhythm of advancing in the middle. Their ace captain Bellwood kept sending the ball behind him to the front court. Number 10 forward Quinlan also desperately interspersed and ran. The Wild Boar Jazz team's offense is quite fierce. However, the Bucks Steel Horns defense is not weak at all. Duran's defensive position is very good. He can sprint back to defense every time and hold Quinlan's clearance and drop the ball behind him. Several consecutive unfavorable attacks made the Wild Boar Jazz team very anxious. The Wild Boar Jazz team tried to change the route and attack the right side of the Bucks Steel Horns. Aurelio's defense was not as strong as Duran's, but Rusty stood up and joined forces with Quinlan. Brett retreated to the middle of the penalty area to defend behind Rusty. The Wild Boar Jazz team's fierce attack in the first 10 minutes was resolved by the Bucks Steel Horns team. The two sharpest trump cards of the Wild Boar Jazz team were tightly restricted by Duran. As soon as the Wild Boar Jazz's offensive weakened, the Bucks Steel Horns team immediately launched a quick counterattack. In the 65th minute of the game, after Brett got the ball, he passed it directly to the front of the left side. Duran accelerated to sprint to support. When Duran sprinted, the whole audience booed. But Duran didn't care at all. Instead, he accelerated to sprint like a chicken blood. The entire Bucks Steel Horns team also sprinted with Duran, with a formation of two wings flying together, supporting in parallel. The defensive formation of the Wild Boar Jazz team immediately pressed to the left side, where Duran was. The number 7 ace Bellwood ran over desperately to intercept, and the right back of the Wild Boar Jazz also accelerated under the on-the-spot command of their head coach. Bellwood rushed to Duran's side first, and directly hit him with a fierce shoulder. Duran was very smart not to fight with Bellwood, but to stop and pull the ball, step down and turn to knock the ball. Macro manipulation was fully pulled in an instant. Bellwood immediately hit nothing, staggering and almost lost his balance and fell. When he finally turned around and chased back, Duran had completed the breakthrough and dribbled past at high speed. Bellwood was dumbfounded. This high-speed dribbling action was too familiar. Bellwood desperately chased back, but he couldn't catch up at all. Bellwood's mentality exploded. In the first confrontation between the two, Bellwood was fed a mouthful of grass by Duran, and in this confrontation, Duran actually used Bellwood's best high-speed dribbling to pass Bellwood. This is simply riding on Bellwood's face and hitting Bellwood in the face. The students in the stands, who were booing just now all seemed to be dumb now, with big mouths and faces full of disbelief. The head coach Carter on the sidelines clenched his fists and shouted excitedly, "That's right. That's it. Go, go, go. Beat them up for me." Teacher Mariah in the stands was trembling with excitement. This is all my credit. Light Bellwood, who was pulled 3 positions away by Guran, dropped a new blue bubble. Guran had no time to look back and continued to dribble and sprint at high speed. At this time, the right back of the Wild Boar Jazz team was only 2 positions away from Guran, and the other 2 forwards quickly filled in and outflanked. Guran quickly observed and read, and saw that Zimmerly had run out of space in the front rib area, and immediately made a decisive pass. This was a running behind the back ball. The ball passed between the 2 Wild Boar Jazz defenders and hit them 10 meters behind. It's not only your Wild Boar Jazz ace Bellwood who can play behind the back balls. The number 3 Guran of the Bucks Steelhorns can also play. Moreover, Guran's kick was even more exciting. The 2 Jazz Wild Boar defenders hurriedly turned around to chase the ball. Zimmerly rushed to receive it, adjusted with small steps, and then kicked the ball to the middle. Unfortunately, the route of Minato's back point was discovered by the opponent's central defender, and the cross ball was directly cleared by a big foot. A great opportunity was wasted. The front court players of the Bucks Steelhorns covered their faces and lamented at the same time. The head coach Carter on the sidelines was also thumping his chest in frustration. If this was not a game, Carter would have already sprayed "Dig out my grandma" and put her there, and she can score. However, although this wave of offensive did not score, the sideline breakthrough initiated by Guran was very sharp. The scene of Guran's high-speed breakthrough when facing Bellwood was really exciting. Minato took the lead in applauding Guran. "Boo, well done." Guran retreated and said, "Come again. Yes. Come again. Fuck them." The Bucks Steelhorns saw the hope of winning the game. When returning to defense, Guran took the opportunity to glance at the blue bubble that Bellwood had just dropped. The blue bubble showed slide and kneel celebration action +1. It was rubbish. Guran simply chose to ignore it. There was only one pickup progress left today. It would be best if I could get another Bellwood's high-speed dribbling skill. This skill is really fucking useful. If it can be +2, it would be even more exciting. At this time, Bellwood ran towards Guran and asked in a bad tone, "Chinese boy, which club are you training in? What the hell? Do you think I'm also a semi-professional? I'm not. I just prostituted you without your knowledge." Guran sneered and replied coldly, "I'll tell you, if you call me daddy." Fuck. Bellwood's face was flushed, and his fists were clenched and creaked. "I've seen many arrogant people like you on the court. Don't fucking think that you can talk to me like this just because you got the highest score in the first half." "Wait, what did you say?" "I was the highest score in the first half." "Carter, you old poor. I got the highest score in the first half, and you are still pooing me. No wonder you didn't show me the score. You also said that I was far behind. I was far behind the full score of 10, right?" Guran couldn't help but ask Bellwood, "So what is my exact score?" Bellwood felt deeply humiliated. "Chinese boy, you are too arrogant. I must kill you today." Right before Bellwood ran away, another full blue bubble fell. "What the hell is going on? I really don't know my score. How can I ask about my score and break your glass heart?" Guran took the opportunity to quickly sweep the blue bubble. "Fancy juggling +1. This skill is not used for the time being. I still have to continue to brush Bellwood." Guran simply ignored the blue bubble in front of him and continued to run. As the game time progressed, the physical fitness and competitive state of both sides began to decline. Guran added a physical point before the start of the second half, and with the 10 minutes of blood restored by Teacher Mariah, Guran's physical strength was basically enough. The 77th minute of the game, the Wild Boar Jazz team made a mistake in the backcourt pass. Minato pushed away the opponent's forward player and grabbed the ball. Guran started sprinting at high speed from the left side and cut into the midfield to respond. Minato understood and immediately knocked the ball back to Guran. After Guran got the ball, he dribbled towards the middle. The defensive players of the Wild Boar Jazz team were all going crazy. They had just adapted to shifting the center of gravity of defense to the left, but the Chinese kid on the opposite side actually ran to the middle. How to defend this? Defend the middle or the left? The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz team stood on the sidelines and pulled his hair desperately. Man-to-man defense against Guran. Then there must be a position that will be left open. Zone defense? This kid has a large range of activities, and the zone defense will create a larger gap. The defensive players of the Wild Boar Jazz team were also at a loss. At this time, number 7 Bellwood rushed towards Guran fiercely. This time, Bellwood used all his strength. It didn't matter whether the ball passed or not. He was going to make this arrogant Chinese boy pay the price. Guran took the ball under his feet 7 steps forward. Then, Guran suddenly stopped, barely avoiding Bellwood's side collision, and then instantly started sprinting from behind Bellwood. Overtaking on the left, Guran caught up and controlled the football rolling forward. Guran passed the ball to himself in 3 seconds. At this moment, the whole audience exclaimed. Everyone's eyes widened, including the students of Tunbridge Middle School, including the head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz who was pulling his hair, including Coach Carter and the substitutes of the Bucks Steelhorns, and even old Rice sitting in the VIP seat. What did they see? Got a younger black-haired Bell. Chapter 99. The situation is out of control. Defeating the second-tier strong team. Is Guran injured? Light Bellwood behind him dropped blue bubbles again. But Guran had no time to care about it now. The hot blood in his body was burning. Dopamine and adrenaline were surging in his blood vessels. Go, go, go. Guran continued to accelerate. The frequency of his legs was so fast that it blurred his vision. High-speed dribbling skills, physical advantages, explosive attributes, sprint speed, and strong will to win all exploded at the same time at this moment. The central defense that the Wild Boar Jazz team was most proud of was instantly torn into a hole in stockings by Guran's sprint. Almost all the Wild Boar Jazz players were in a panic to chase and intercept Guran. Their physical strength had already declined significantly, and they had no chance to foul Guran. Almost in the blink of an eye, Guran rushed to the top of the penalty area. Guran quickly read the situation on the field. Minato was struggling to pull the gap to the left side, and next to Minato, there were 2 Wild Boar Jazz defensive players. And in the passing channel, there was another defensive player who was preparing to intercept. Unless Minato can open up a gap within a second, the passing channel on this side cannot be opened. In front of Guran himself, there are 2 central defenders who are ready to close a door to defend him. There is also a forward on the right side of Guran who reaches out to pull. There are at least 3 pursuers behind Guran. In this situation, he can't stop, otherwise he will be in trouble, but it is not easy to continue to force his way into the penalty area. Guran saw from the corner of his eye that there is an open area on the right side of the penalty area. The center forward glider has already run to the position. Give it. Guran made a decision instantly. Guran slowed down and adjusted, and before the defensive players who were flanking him closed in, he tiptoed to the right side of the penalty area. Rainbow lob. The football drew a gorgeous rainbow-like arc from Guran's toes and fell accurately to Glider's head. Glider subconsciously jumped on the spot and pressed down with his header. The football bounced at a small angle to the near corner of the right goal. The goalkeeper of the Wild Boar Jazz team didn't react at all and just stood on the goal line and stood there. The ball went in. This wave of attack, from Guran passing the ball to himself 3 seconds later, to the rainbow pass straight into the middle, took less than 7 seconds. This goal was too fast, too smooth, too silky. The defense of the Wild Boar Jazz team hadn't been deployed yet, and the ball went in. After the goal, the glider was also in disbelief, until the referee signaled that the goal was valid. The players of the Bucks Steelhorns team all rushed towards Guran frantically. Although the ball was scored by the glider, everyone knew that the glider was just a tool. In Carter's words, I can still score a goal, even if I dig out my grandma and put her in that position. The real hero of this ball was Guran. Guran single-handedly broke through the defense that the Wild Boar Jazz team was most proud of. The score was rewritten. The Wild Boar Jazz 1:2 Bucks Steelhorns. The Bucks Steelhorns team took the lead again. The Bucks Steelhorns players on the visiting bench cheered wildly. Head coach Carter also danced on the sidelines like a child. Teacher Mariah in the stands jumped up excitedly, one wave of excitement after another. This goal is also my contribution. Guran, you must thank me very much at this moment. All the Wild Boar Jazz players fell into despair. They thought this was a game where they could easily get 3 points, and they didn't even plan to use their full strength. But the reality was that they tried their best and couldn't stop the Chinese boy's high-speed dribbling breakthrough. The Chinese boy who was discriminated by them slapped them twice with his left and right hands. There is not much time left for the Wild Boar Jazz. The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz angrily cursed at the players on the field. The students of Tunbridge Middle School broke the defense again. While cursing discriminatory swear words such as stinky fishmonger, they kept throwing mineral water bottles onto the field. The game was interrupted, and the scene was a little out of control. What annoyed the Bucks Steelhorns was that they couldn't pick up the mineral water bottles and throw them back, because attacking fans was a serious foul and would result in a direct red card and even a 3-game ban. Facing the booing and discrimination of the students of Tunbridge Middle School, Guran stood directly at the corner flag area closest to the stands and made an exaggerated fishing action at these noble students, who were full of foul language. Guran shouted domineeringly, "I'm a stinky fish seller. You are the stinky fish caught by me. That's right. You are the stinky fish." All the Bucks Steelhorns players lined up behind Guran and imitated Guran's fishing action. Those noble students were completely furious, and some students with poor psychological tolerance chose not to watch and left the field. If the distance had not exceeded 10 meters, Guran's domineering wave would have definitely made the whole field drop blue bubbles. Old Rice, who was sitting in the VIP seat, couldn't help but smile after seeing Guran's celebration. At this time, the staff urgently went on the field to clean up the mineral water bottles in the field. The game was interrupted for a full 5 minutes. Guran and others took the opportunity to run to the visiting team's bench, rinsing their mouths with electrolyte water while listening to Coach Carter's latest tactical arrangements. Defense. All the focus from now on is defense. Coach Carter held the tactical board and said very quickly, "Focus on defending the opponent's number 7 Bellwood. Break the back pass connection between Bellwood and their number 10 forward. Boys, as long as we defend, we can win. Go, knock them down for me. See who dares to despise us again." "Yes, coach." The players of the Bucks Steelhorns team were full of morale. The game resumed. After the Wild Boar Jazz kicked off again, they really launched an attack in an almost crazy way. Coach Carter stood on the sidelines and loudly reminded the players to run. Although the overall strength of the Bucks Steelhorns team is not as good as that of the Wild Boar Jazz, the overall physical fitness is not bad. The Bucks Steelhorns team put all their physical strength into defense. The Wild Boar Jazz team was helpless for a while. In the 85th minute of the game, Coach Carter began to make substitutions. The left winger Zimmerly was substituted, the forward Nyang Peo was substituted, and the right winger Blind was substituted. Coach Carter used up all 3 substitutions in one breath, using 3 backcourt defensive players to replace 3 frontcourt players. The Bucks Steelhorns team changed their formation again on the spot, using the bus to defend the last few minutes. This strategy is indeed a bit conservative, but as long as they can defend, the Bucks Steelhorns team can create an upset and get 3 points away from home. The players of the Bucks Steelhorns team also fully understood Coach Carter's intentions, and every player on the court was fully involved in defense. Because of the cleaning of mineral water bottles, the referee gave 8 minutes of extra injury time. The Wild Boar Jazz seemed to see new hope, and they continued to attack desperately. The Bucks Steelhorns team gritted their teeth to defend desperately. Every Bucks Steelhorns player was breaking their own limits. Time was advancing minute by minute, and the Wild Boar Jazz still couldn't attack for a long time. The Wild Boar Jazz became more and more impatient, and all kinds of dirty tricks were frequently used. Now they only hope to get a draw. Only if they get a draw, they still have a theoretical chance to qualify. But if they are beaten by the Bucks Steelhorns 1:2, then they can say goodbye to the national competition directly. There is not much time left in injury time. The Wild Boar Jazz team pressed the Bucks Steelhorns for 4 or 5 rounds. The last strong attack almost scored a goal, but Rusty headed the ball out of the baseline. In the last minute of injury time, the Wild Boar Jazz got a corner kick. This will be the last duel to determine the final score. All the players of the Wild Boar Jazz team pressed into the Bucks Steelhorns penalty area, and even the goalkeeper of the Wild Boar Jazz team ran to the middle of the penalty area to prepare for the response. Bellwood took a deep breath and kicked the ball to the middle point. Rusty jumped high and touched the football first. Bang! The goalkeeper of the Wild Boar Jazz team also jumped up almost at the same time. He didn't touch the ball, but his head hit Rusty's head heavily. Rusty's brow bone was immediately injured. Rusty fell to the ground without even a groan and got up and continued to defend. The ball was first rubbed to the outside by Rusty's strip, but it has not yet become a dead ball. Everyone is scrambling for the first landing point. Duran sprinted over with all his strength and cleared the ball with his big foot. At the same time, the ace Belvid on the opposite side also rushed over quickly and tried his best to intercept. The two collided with each other. At this moment, Duran desperately poked the ball away, and Belvid stepped on the instep of Duran's left foot. Duran and Belvid fell to the ground at the same time. The players from both sides immediately surrounded him with hot tempers and pushed each other. The referee intervened in time and blew the whistle, and Belvid was penalized for trampling. The referee showed Belvid a yellow card and awarded the Bucks Steelhorns an indirect free kick in the backcourt. The injury time has exceeded the time limit. As long as this indirect free kick is taken, the game will be over. Yes. Duran made the most critical clearance in the last wave of defense of the Bucks Steelhorns. Yes. The Wild Boar Jazz is now powerless to turn the tide. The students of Tunbridge High School in the stands have already started to leave the field in large numbers. The players of the Wild Boar Jazz team all had painful expressions on their faces, unable to accept such an outcome. The head coach of the Wild Boar Jazz team squatted on the sidelines and hugged his head. After this game, he didn't have much hair left. The substitute players of the Bucks Steelhorns team couldn't wait to celebrate on the sidelines. This will be their first group match victory. Moreover, it was a victory that was won by stepping on the face of a well-known aristocratic school. Head coach Carter was still looking at the field with a nervous face at this time. He was not worried about any accidents in this victory. He was just worried about Duran, who was stepped on. Dadboo, please don't get hurt. Carter made the sign of a cross on his chest devoutly. Teacher Mariah had already rushed down from the stands and was standing on the sidelines waiting. As soon as the whistle sounded for the end of the game, she would immediately rush in as fast as possible and take off Duran's shoes. Chapter 100, Incredible Post-Match Statistics. Teacher Mariah took the initiative to ask me out. The game is not over yet. Duran calmly adjusted his socks and slowly stood up from the grass. He was the one who took the indirect free kick. As long as he kicked it, the game would be over. Duran limped to the football and prepared to kick it. Bellwood was standing not far in front of him, with a blank expression on his face. Duran kicked the ball directly to the front court. Beep, beep, beep. The referee blew the whistle and the game was over. We won. Ha ha ha. We won. Awesome. Awesome. We are the Bucks Steelhorns. The stupid noble young master is only worthy of eating our big dicks. All the players of the Bucks Steelhorns team hugged and celebrated like crazy. The substitute players, the head coach Carter, and teacher Mariah, who was carrying a box, rushed into the stadium together. Light Duran heard a clear system prompt sound in his mind. A blue bubble formed under Bellwood's feet. Duran concentrated his mind and saw high-speed dribbling +1. Ugh. So cool. Finally got Bellwood's second high-speed dribbling skill. Duran collected it directly with his mind. High-speed dribbling +2. Today's pickup progress 10/10. Comfortable. Duran felt the peak pleasure of dopamine and adrenaline in his body, and the whole person seemed to float. Light at this moment, another system prompt sounded in Duran's mind. Congratulations to the host. Since the host has perfectly integrated the results of more than 100 hours of training in the official competition, the corresponding physical attribute points have grown. Your physical attribute, physical fitness, has grown from 63 points to 64 points. Your physical attribute, burst, has grown from 65 points to 66 points. Your technical attribute, dribbling, has grown from 68 points to 69 points. Warm reminder, attribute points improved through growth cannot be counted in the talent points for personal rating upgrades. Damn. This is so cool. As long as you accumulate more than 100 hours of single training, plus work hard in the official competition, you can directly get the growth of a single attribute. In today's game, I won happily and picked up the prize happily. What's even more exciting is that I have grown at the end of the game. And what surprised Guran the most was that the initial value of his own ribbling attribute was 68 points. This shows that the technical attribute should be able to inherit the experience of playing wild football in the previous life. If this is true, then the passing and shooting attributes, which are also technical attributes, should not be too bad. Just when Guran was extremely happy, Teacher Mariah came running over in high heels, 1 foot deep and 1 foot shallow. The two lights were almost shaking out. Coach Carter ran faster than her and blocked in front of Teacher Mariah. Guran, coach, please let me go. Coach Carter hugged Guran and pushed Guran to the ground directly. Your foot, is your foot okay? Coach Carter didn't care about anything now, and he was most concerned about Guran's injury. Although Carter has not yet clearly stated that Guran is the new core of the Bucks Steelhorns. In fact, in Carter's heart, Guran is already, especially after this game. The Bucks Steelhorns have been completely activated by Guran, and now they are in a strong momentum. If Guran is injured and can't play, Carter will even want to die. Guran hurriedly said, "Coach, I'm fine." Rusty next to him said, "Coach, I'm in trouble. Get out of the way." Teacher Mariah ran to Guran breathlessly and took off Guran's sneakers without saying anything. Teacher Mariah, I'm really fine. Take it off. Teacher Mariah tore off Guran's socks. Damn. This action is so fast. Teacher Mariah, do you also know how to take off socks? Guran was a little amused. Guran's foot was indeed fine, but the place where the shoe spikes stepped on was a little red and swollen. Teacher Mariah carefully pinched Guran's foot bones. Does it hurt? Guran shook his head. The bones are fine, but the skin is a little painful. Teacher Mariah pushed her eyes and got close to Guran's feet to check carefully. There was a small cut in the middle of Guran's instep, but there was no bleeding. Teacher Mariah said with a tight face, "Fortunately I found it in time. Don't move, I'll apply some medicine." Guran covered his face and couldn't help complaining in his heart. Yes, fortunately it was found in time, otherwise it would have healed. Rusty said carefully, "Teacher Mariah, my head is broken, can you bandage it for me too?" Mariah said without raising her head, "Your injury is fine, it's just a little skin scraped off, it's not a big deal, just put a band-aid on it first." Rusty? Guran. Coach Carter was relieved when he confirmed that Guran was really fine. Carter looked up at the VIP seats. The seat where old Rice sat was empty. Carter clapped his hands. "Okay, let's go back to the visiting team's locker room." "Yes, coach." The players of the Bucks Steelhorns left the field happily. Guran was about to put on his shoes and stand up, but Teacher Mariah said, "I just sprayed you with medicine. Wait for the medicine to be absorbed before putting on your shoes. Come, I'll help you walk." "Damn, isn't this too bad?" Guran raised his hand and put his arm on Teacher Mariah's delicate shoulders and said shyly, "How can I feel embarrassed? Thank you, Teacher Mariah. There is no way this young body is too honest." Teacher Mariah supported Guran's strong back, her eyes full of little stars. "You said you would win for me, and you really did it. Boo. You are so great, damn Teacher Mariah. Don't praise me like that, my body is too young, but it really can't stand your praise." Guran tried hard to control his heartbeat. After returning to the locker room, Coach Carter was the last to come in with a bunch of post-match data in his hand. "Everyone pay attention. Let me say a few words. Everyone did a great job today. Originally, I expected a draw, but I didn't expect that your performance exceeded my expectations. We got 3 points from those self-righteous noble young masters." According to the latest group standings reported by the Football Association, Rugby Golden Fleece has won 2 games and has 6 points, ranking first. We have 1 draw and 1 win, with 4 points, ranking second. Corsair has 1 draw and 1 loss, with 1 point, ranking third. And Wild Borsa has lost 2 games and has 0 points, ranking fourth. We have maintained the second place, and our current qualifying situation is very optimistic. Yeah. The players of the Bucks Steelhorns excitedly cheered. Before Qualifying from the group was just an empty talk for them, but after this game, qualifying from the group is really in sight. Carter pressed his palms together, signaling everyone to be quiet. Not only you, but I'm also very excited to win this game today. However, we still cannot let our guard down, because our next opponent is the powerful Rugby Golden Fleece. The next game will be back at our home court. We must maintain the momentum, and must not lose to them at home. Do you have confidence? Yes, coach. We are confident. We are the Bucks Steelhorns. The bad boys of the Bucks Steelhorns team shouted wildly. Guran was no exception, and shouted especially loudly. Coach Carter nodded with satisfaction. Very good. Now, I will announce the best player of this game. Coach Carter paused deliberately. His eyes swept across the entire locker room, and finally stopped on Guran. The technical statistics of this player are 7 fatal passes, 2 of which were scored, 13 successful dribbles, 32 touches, 25 passes, 85% pass success rate, 16 successful, 19 confrontations, 4 fouls, and 0 loss of possession. Fuck, this data is too amazing. This data can be used to play in the professional league. The players of the Bucks Steelhorns team were amazed. Coach Carter smiled proudly and continued. This player ran 10.27 kilometers throughout the game. The longest sprint distance was 57 meters, and the highest instantaneous speed reached 9 meters per second. This player is. Before Coach Carter announced, everyone in the locker room focused their attention on Guran. In addition to Guran, who else in the team can have such a high sprint speed? The 2 goals of the Bucks Steelhorns are closely related to Guran. It can be said that Guran carried the whole game alone, just based on the fact that Guran dribbled past the opponent's ace at high speed and passed the ball to himself 3 seconds later. Guran was definitely the best player of the game. Unfortunately, this was just an amateur game, and there was no substantial reward for the best player of the game. That's right. It's Guran. Coach Carter proudly announced. Guran's post-match score is 8.5 points. Wow. The entire locker room was filled with thunderous cheers. Minato and others rushed to shake hands with Guran. 8.5 points post-match score. Even Guran himself was a little surprised. In fact, Guran was not very satisfied with his performance in the last 10 minutes of the game because of the large amount of physical energy consumed, and the all-out defensive tactical strategy suppressed his strengths of penetration and breakthrough. So Guran really didn't expect that he could get such a high post-match score. This is scored according to the internationally accepted scoring method. Although the opponent is not a professional team, if you can get such a score, you will definitely have a chance to enter the professional team. But there is one biggest obstacle to playing in the professional league. Guran took a deep breath and did not think about it anymore. Instead, he quickly controlled his emotions. Thank you everyone. I had a great time playing this game. Together, we kicked those noble young masters who looked down on us into idiots. Next, I want to work with everyone to defeat the Golden Fleece and advance to the top 16. That's right. Defeat the Golden Fleece. Advance to the top 16. Bucks Steelhorns. Invincible. The whole team roared, and everyone was excited, wishing to drag the Golden Fleece team to abuse them now. Coach Carter nodded with satisfaction. Very good. This is the scene I want to see. Our game with Rugby Golden Fleece will be the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow is a day off. Everyone should have a good rest, and the day after tomorrow we will go back to school for recovery training, and the day after tomorrow we will fight Rugby Golden Fleece. Now, go take a shower for me. After taking a shower, we will leave here and go home to rest. Yes, coach. The players of the Bucks Steelhorns cheered. After taking the train back to Southampton station, the players dispersed on the spot and went home. As soon as Guran walked out of the platform and prepared to take a taxi, Teacher Mariah followed him. Gu, what are your plans tonight? Teacher Mariah adjusted her glasses and said in a very queenly manner, would you like to sit with me for a while? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.